Hey, what's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday to you. I hope you're all having a great day today. Hope everybody had a great night last night. As you all can tell, we're, no surprise, going right back on over to Idaho again today. And as promised, based on request, we will be reviewing the Goncalves interviews today and seeing what are they saying to us, the public. Should be interesting. I thank you all for joining us today for this. I hope, again, you're all having a wonderful day, and I really appreciate you all joining us and being here, supporting this channel the way you do. So, as I always say, let's get this show on the road. Here we go. Hello. How are you? Good to see you guys back again. Thank you so much for being here. You all appreciate it so very much. Hope you're all having a great day. Like I said, hope everybody had a great night last night as well. Thank you for those of you that joined me last night in my stream. I appreciate that very much. Once again, just a pre-warning. They still haven't come out and fixed my internet. So if I go in and out, my apologies ahead of time. These people are going to owe me a whole month's bill and then some if they don't get this fixed right. So just a forewarning, I appreciate it. And again, guys, everything in this channel, as we always talk about, is a 100% alleged and pure speculation, folks. Just so you know, if that's not for you, maybe this isn't for you. I understand. No big deal. So, as you all can tell today, like I said, God, I can't spell for nothing. I'm gonna have to fix that too. Shame on me. I'm always in a hurry when I type, you guys, so I always type out this crazy stuff without paying attention. I never go back and double check it. I should by at this point at my age. You know what I mean? I'll fix it. Anyway, it's the Goncalves interviews. All that I could find. And basically, we're going to be going back and looking at it and reviewing what they're saying to us. Is there anything we missed? You never know. I've gone back in many cases, not just this case, and looked at stuff from the beginning. I was like, wait a minute, I don't remember that. So Looks like we've already got one membership gifted out to, looks like Cammy Q got that. Hey, hey. One of my awesome mods. Welcome back to the sauce, Cammy. If you weren't in here, thank you, CR, as always. God bless. Appreciate you very much. Speaking of which, it's like we got 80 people in here and 61 likes, guys. What am I going to say before I even say it, since I ramble, according to somebody else I know? Hold on a minute here. Oop, 1 second here. One moment, guys. Give me a sec. Sorry about that. Anyway, um, as I was saying, let's see who we got here with us today. Looks like Victoria's back in the house. Welcome back, Miss Victoria. Great to see you. Rattlesnake Shart. Thank you so much for joining us today. LA, what's going on? Good to see you. Welcome back. Jesse Lynn, always a pleasure. Dana, Pup and Stuff, great to see you. Thank you for joining us today, dear. You are appreciated. Jesse Lynn, always a pleasure. Great to have you here. Great to see you. Victoria, again, great to see you. Taxi Slut, welcome back to you. Looks like Chad Button just dropped 5 new memberships out there. Marina Girl, Michelle Weddle, J Lord, Tree Beaver, Smiling Sleuth, and I think that's it. All of them were gifted memberships. Welcome to the sauce, all you new meatballs. And thank you, Chad. That is appreciated, brother, so very much. There is somebody in here that names themselves Tree Beaver. Oh, good Lord, guys. Don't participate in my stupidity, folks. Please don't. I'm just saying, please don't. Don't add to my ignorance when I am that way. Good Lord, you guys. I love y'all to death. Marina Girl, good to see you. Thank you. Welcome back for being here. Caroline Miller, always a pleasure, ma'am. Thank you for joining me today. Michelle Weddle, Dane Crawford, welcome. Good to see you. Good to have you here. Victoria, I did say that already. Marina Girl, Lisa Wilson, great to see you. Welcome back. Cammy Q, thank you so much for joining us and being here. I appreciate you so much. Miss Kells, first one in the chat today. Thank you for joining us. LA, good to see you. I know I said that already. Teresa, thank you for jumping back in here with us. Great to see you. Let me see here. Garroot, what's going on? And there it is, Tree Beaver. I can't. I just can't. Marie Duffy, 1975. What's going on? It's been a minute. Great to see you. Thank you for joining us today. Smiling Sleuth, welcome. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. I see that, Kimmy. Good stuff. Susie Storm, welcome back to you. Great to see you today. Moonlit Baby, always a pleasure. Thank you for joining us. All Things Silver, welcome back to you. Great to see you. Lisa Winchester, again, good to see you. Thank you for joining us today. Leslie and Billy, welcome back. Great to see you. Ro, what's going on? Good to have you here. Oh, let me see. Who do we have here? Hold on a minute. Oh, don't know. Mr. David Clayton from over the pond. What's going on, my brother? Good to see you guys. Please let me know if I'm too loud or not loud enough. I would appreciate that, please, if you will. Hold up. I gotta turn this down to 1 second. You know, I can never get my audio exactly right. So if you would, please let me know how it's sounding. Josie West, great to see you. Niles Buckman, welcome back. Good to see you. Neck Hugger, welcome. Good to see you. Squirrel Lee, thank you for joining us. Neil Homestead, thank you for joining us today. I appreciate you, sir. All right, come on down, guys, if you will. Simply Solo. Hey, hey, what's going on? Heather B. Welcome back, girl. Good to see you. Rattlesnake Shart. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Carolyn. Um, I'm sorry, J Lord is here. What does that say? I heard what you said January 2nd, the day of my heart. I wanted to tell you I appreciate it. Oh, you mean the positive thing I said? Yes, I'm not that kind of a person. Regardless of what's going on YouTube, regardless of who gets along and who doesn't, I don't wish anything like that on anybody. And I hope that you've recovered well, regardless of whether we get along or not. You know, we're all the same people under the same God, and we all need to, you know, stand together as far as that's concerned. We don't have to agree on things or even have the same thoughts on things, but I never ever wish anything horrible on anybody in that sense. That's horrific. Anybody that does needs to second guess what they feel because that's wrong. If that's what you're talking about, then and I appreciate you acknowledging that. Mandy Joe, what is going on, girl? Good to see you. Carrie Priscilla, thank you for joining us today. EB Marie, welcome back. Tree Beaver, I still can't believe it. Guys, don't play into my ignorance, please. Don't support it. It's not good. Okay, good. I was just making sure because I don't remember dates anymore. But again, I hope you've recovered and you're doing okay. That's nothing to joke about or to attack anybody at any level for. So that's horrific. Beth Wagner, great to see you. Thank you for joining us today. Brandy B, the OG's in the house. What's going on with you today, Brandy? I hope you're feeling better. I love seeing all the new faces in here. Thank you guys so much for joining us. 117 people, 81 likes. We're almost there. Come on, guys. So let's get this out in that algorithm if we can, please. Come on in. Teresa, thank you for joining us today. Mr. Philip Hughes, good to see you today, sir. Wonderful to have you in here. See, your wife is in charge of my treatment today. You are in good hands. You're in the best hands. You better make sure that she does good by you. I know she will. She's an amazing lady. Tell her I said I love her and I can't wait to see her. Thank you, sir. And you take care of yourself, Philip. I appreciate you being here, sir. Tammy C, thank you for joining us. What do we got going on here? Mandy Joe, what are you talking about already? Oh, I know it is. Tomorrow is a Valentine's Day, Hallmark Day, another Hallmark holiday. Gemma, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Great to have you here. It does on a lot of things. I can imagine this thing right here. This thing right here changed me in a lot of ways. I can agree with that one, J Lord. Mhm. That's a good point, Kels. It's not about subs. It's about people that actually talk and have a conversation because that's what we do. We talk and conversate about things. That's what it's supposed to be about. And we bounce our theories and our opinions off each other. And we watch Mandy Joe make all the ridiculously funny things, comments that she makes in chat. That's what it's all about, guys. What's that say? Time to go scorched earth, yellow fucker. Hey, you know what? Do me a favor. Have a wonderful day. And don't let the door hit you in the ass, idiot. Bye bye now. Peace. Tell John I said hi. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the view. I appreciate it. It helps so very much. CR, what's going on? What's going on? Good to see you, Tabby Cat. Great to have you here. Thank you for joining us. Samira Dolby, thank you for joining us. I love these people. No, no motorcycle accident. I had brain surgery, if that's what you're asking, LA, 24 years ago. No, you're fine so far. Tree beaver. I don't. Anybody's welcome in here as long as they're not being rude to anybody, causing any problems. You guys know these already. I don't have many rules, and all my biggest rule is to respect each other. Again, like I said from the beginning, I don't care if anybody even respects me. Respect yourselves and each other. That's all I care about. Miss Val, hope folks is in the house. Good to see you. Good to have you here. That's exactly it. Thank you, Val, very much. No worries, Mandy. You're fine. That's what your job is, dear, and you do it well. Greg Mertz, welcome. Good to see you. Nellie M, thank you for joining us. That's why we're doing this today. The Goncalves say something different every interview, and that's why, well, that's your opinion. I understand. I respect that 100%. One day they say one thing, the next day they don't. They change. And that's why I want to do this today. Because there's a lot of people that have said, they said this, they said that. I want to hear this, I want to hear that. So that's what we have to look at. That's all. That's why we're doing it. Tomboy Charm, good to see you. Sunny days, welcome back to you. Great to have you here. Juliet, what? Juliet, my shutsu. Okay, welcome. Chad Button, great to see you again, brother. Thank you. Kyla Delilah, welcome back to you. Great to have you here. Jesse Lynn, always a pleasure. I think I spoke to you already. I saw some, but Miss Bonnie Bailey, always a pleasure, dear. Great to see you. Miss Kells, I want you to go ahead and do that. Please opine about this. Thank you. Opine about the whole thing. Crime Solver, great to see you as well. Come on in, guys. I gotta say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to all of you, wherever you are. I hope it's good for you because it's great for me to be here with you. I appreciate you all so very much for supporting this channel, for being here, and for even caring what's coming out of my big mouth. I appreciate that so very much, guys. I really do. Come on in. 152 peeps in here. We broke it, guys. You guys rock and roll. 101 likes already. We're out there. This is why I love y'all. This community is absolutely the best. And don't let nobody tell you any different. You know why it's the best? Because y'all let me wear these. Mm-hmm. Rocket Man. I know I'm a dork, folks. I know I'm a dork. It's okay though. I can be that dork because y'all are here to see that dork. So it's all good. Let's do this. Why? Thank you. That's exactly it right there because you're all real. That's what I love about this community. 100%, folks. You're all real. Welcome, Miss Pia. Good to see you. Strange Suspicion. Thank you for joining us today. Appreciate you. If we will, mods, if we can, mods, throw the link out for Strange Suspicions channel. Show some love over there. She's doing a great job. She just started doing her live streams, and I think it's pretty cool. So please show some love. Jump on over there when you get some time. subscribe and check out some of her content, folks. She's pretty cool. Her and Bob, Pia and Bob. Where did I just saw a comment that says something about Michelle Nettle. Welcome to you. Good to see you. Bobby J, what is going on? Where did that comment go? It couldn't have jumped up that far. Michelle Weddle just retired 6 weeks ago. Congrats. Uno momento. Folks, be right with All right, guys. Sorry, I had to fix something. It was driving me nuts. There we go. My title was off. I misspelled something. I don't like that. So I fixed it. We're good. Nelly. Let's see. Anybody else go? Mittens for mittens. Lorray Schilling Snyderin. Welcome. Welcome, Matt. Oh, good to see you. Thank you for joining us today. There's the link, guys, for Strange Suspicion. Check it out. You won't be disappointed. Mark and Betty, good to see you. Thank you for joining us. 160 peeps in here, 120 likes. We are right where we should be, guys. Thank you so very much for that. God bless. I appreciate you all so very much. I think I found everybody in here too. Welcome. Voice text said Diego, huh? Oh, uh, Diego. Everybody calls me Diego when they do that. It doesn't work out well. I don't know why. Miss Joanne's in the house. Welcome back. Good to see you. I know I just saw you. Where'd you go? There she is. So, guys, what we're going to try to do is I tried to, they're not probably going to be in the best organizational setting, but we're going to go back to the beginning of this case and all of the interviews that I could get. I want to review them. This was per request from a couple people via email. Asked me, "Can we do this? Can we do that?" And I'm like, "Okay." I mean, I try to give you guys what I can from what you guys have asked for, the best I can. So that's what we're doing today, and we shall see how it goes. Hold up, why is this not working? I'd like to know when my son is not home yet. I haven't been able to get a hold of Eddie, Jesse. I don't know what's going on, but I hope he's okay. I've been looking for him everywhere, and I haven't seen him in a while. Why is my son not home yet? It's 3:15. This is making me nervous, folks. I'm sorry. Please bear with me. I have to make this phone call. I expected him home before I even did this, but just give me 1 second. I promise we will get rolling. Thank you for calling New Guys, I'm still here. I'm sorry. I'm a little nervous right now because my son wasn't on the bus after school and I can't find him. So just bear with me for a minute. I'm trying to make another phone call. Are you there, Clue? Hello? All right, hold on, folks.
Get back. Can y'all hear me? No.
Hang on a second, Clue. I'm on off the phone trying to find my son. I'll be right there.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, okay. Sorry, y'all. I forgot my AirPods were connected, so I didn't think you guys could. I had to run in the other room to get them. It wasn't picking me up talking on the phone. Okay. He's coming back, guys. He can't find his son. He was on the bus, so. Or maybe not on the bus. I don't know. I missed all that. Hi, everybody. I would sing for you guys, but fiance is like deathly sick. He's literally been sleeping since last night, and his temperature is 101 degrees. So I don't want to wake him up. Yeah, he is not feeling good. Like he literally has been in the bed since we went to sleep last night at like 11 something it is. He's like down for the count. I've got him up twice, I think, just to take his temperature, and all he does is take his pitiful little hand and barely hold the little thermometer. because it's heavy, right? But I gave him ibuprofen and went down 0.3 degrees. I don't know what he's got, but he was talking about last night that he was achy. And like when we were on Dago's Live, he was sitting here, and don't make fun of him or do, I don't care, but he's got this like Chewbacca robe I got him, and you like press it and it growls like Chewbacca, but it's super warm. And he was wearing that robe and got the heater going right on him, and he's all
Okay.
freezing. Oh, you okay?
Sorry. I'm all right. I just had a minor stroke. I freaked out. I probably overreacted, but this is what happens. Um,
Is he on the bus?
no, he told his mother, who I can't talk to because she's still working, that he was
Yeah.
staying after to work out with the weightlifting team because that's what he's doing.
Mm.
I didn't know, and when I called transportation, they said he wasn't on the bus this morning or this afternoon. I knew he wasn't this morning because he was running late, so he had to walk. This afternoon, he stayed after, so I'm thinking, oh my God, called the school, there's no answer. He finally called me back on his phone and told me, and I'm like, oh, for God's sakes, talk about a heart attack. Anyway, sorry about all that, you guys. Um, ridiculous. So here we are. Welcome, Clue. Thank you for joining me. Sorry I left you hanging too. I didn't mean to.
That's okay. I was telling everybody how sick fiance is.
Is he getting worse or better, or
He's just back there sleeping.
did you find out if you have a COVID test?
Oh, no. I wouldn't wake him up to take it anyway right now. He needs to just rest.
Yeah. Is he like sweating or anything, or sweating any of it out? I know that was one of the things I did
Mm,
when I was sick. I was really, really bad sweating and stuff.
mm-mm. Nope. I
Well,
keep going to
hopefully,
check on him, and like when I walk over there, he just. I'm like, okay.
just kind of grumbling. That's how I was.
I'm like, as long as you're breathing.
Oh God, I said the C word. Good Lord, I did it again. Thank you, Mandy. I know. Anyway, again, my apologies for making you guys wait like that. I literally had a mini stroke over that, folks. I was freaking out. I get real paranoid when it comes to him coming up, not being on the schedule he's supposed to be on. So anyway, trying to catch my breath now. Yeah, I hope that Cletus gets better.
Well, he was saying something about being achy, which kind of sounds like the flu.
Yep,
I've
yep.
never had it, so I don't know. I mean,
You've never had the flu?
never had the flu or a flu shot. I'm trying to tell you, there's something to be said for putting something in your body that you don't have. I've also never had the chicken pox, which means I can't get the shingles. And they
Yeah,
wanted to put that stuff in me at work. I was like, bro,
yeah,
you
but
can
I think can't you get shingles, which is the adult chicken pox, still if you haven't had?
only if you've had chicken pox.
Mm, gotcha. Okay,
So the worst that could happen to me is I could get chicken pox at like almost 40 years old.
that's rough. I had it at 16 when I was 16, and I went nuts. It was crazy.
Are you serious? You had chicken pox at 16?
Hmm.
Well, and that's what's crazy. My mom swears I had it right like 2 weeks before my brother was born,
Hmm.
and they checked my immunity twice and I had none. So I was like, lady, I think you're crazy.
That's wild. That is wild. I don't know. That's when I had it though. I was miserable because I guess the older you are, the worse it is. And
Oh yeah.
I had it. I think I even have here or here. I can't tell by where I'm sitting. I have a scar from it, and on my head, I have like scars all over my body. I had them bad. That itching thing is what drove me nuts. I was doused in
Hmm.
calamine lotion and all sorts of crap, and I was like, she's like, my mother put socks on my hand at 16. I'm like, you really think I'm not taking these socks off my hands? Come on. Like, and she's like, just leave them on. And then she tried to tape them. And I said, Mom, I can still scratch like this, and I was doing it like crazy because I couldn't not scratch. It was crazy. I do remember the mumps. I never had that, but I did have the chicken pox. Never had the measles either. I don't think we could get measles. We were.
You
I
know.
think my age group was vaxxed against that.
Mm-hmm.
Measles, mumps, and rubella was one of the vaccinations I got back in the day. I don't that thing that they put in your arm here. Yeah, I don't have that circle thing that they gave. I was right after they stopped doing that.
Isn't that smallpox?
I think it was, or polio, one of the two. Manny just said polio. I think that's what that was. All three of my kids had chicken pox when they were 4, 3, 4, and 6. That's how old they were all together at one time. Thank God, because it was insane. Um, and that was a lot of me and the creature. Of course, it was me because she wasn't around. That was a lot, and I had already had them. Thank God I didn't get like shingles or anything because of that. But it was crazy. Round one was polio. Gotcha. Okay, and then what did Pia just say to me? I'm 49, Pia. I'll be 50 next year. I just turned 49.
Dang.
And she's
Oh, go
trying to
ahead.
say, you ain't that far off from me, girl. Dude,
Far enough.
whatever. Whatever. All right. So again, like I said, we are reviewing some interviews with the Goncalves family. This is by request. Oh, you're not. You're close to Pia. I thought we're roughly all kind of in the same age range, give or take a couple years here or there, except for the baby here.
Yes, the baby.
What was that noise? You got a dog?
I have two dogs. I
One
have
of them.
four dogs actually, but two of them are inside.
Gotcha. My sign. I am Sagittarius, Miss Heather. November 23rd. Exactly, Pia. Music is
Oh,
my, I think,
please.
best musical taste. I like it all, but I love it's okay. Everybody calls me Diego. Don't worry. Go, Diego, go. It's all good. Brandy, you're 42. Uh, okay. We'll go with that, Brandy. I'll just leave that alone. Yeah, I've had people ask me the sign with my Sagittarius thing. I don't know much about that stuff. I don't know what it means really. I know a little bit, but I had somebody come in here and read me, and she read me like a book for real, like completely. Told me exactly who I was. I was like, "Damn, how did you do that?" She was like, "I don't know. It's just what I do." And I'm thinking, "Shit. I mean, really?" Yeah, right, Brandy. I get it. It's okay. Um, Somebody else just said something too.
I want
Yeah,
somebody to read my, like, you know what I mean? Like a,
that's what she did. She read my. It was part of my like reading my aura, but it was based on my
yeah.
sign and all that kind of stuff. And she told me basically, I think it was Pisces. Yeah, it was Pisces. She told me who I was to the T, and I'm like, "How the hell do you know that?" I mean, details like you're ultra sensitive about this. This is something that you love. You don't like this kind of thing. This is how your relationship with your first wife was. Blah 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 blah. I'm going. Do you live with me or something? Do I know you? Like, how the hell do you know all this shit? It was weird. Welcome, Miss Lily. Good to see you. Thought you were. I recognize other Sagittarians. I know much about the other. Yeah. How do
Ah,
you get into Discord? You just have to download the Discord thing and jump into that way, Terry. Uh, this should just be an app. That's how I did it. What the hell? Oh hell no,
what?
motherfucker! Nope. Get. Ugh. Okay. Oh hell no, that wasn't cool. You ever like? Well, I'm sure. I felt something crawling on my lower leg under the desk, like moving, and I'm like, what the shit? I look down. There's a big old spider crawling up my leg.
Ugh.
Nope. 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 I hate spiders. Nope. Ooh, no. Nope. No. No. Welcome, Kim. Good to see you. Wow, we're not bringing anybody into the Discord right now, Brandy. She can get into Discord and we can communicate through regular Discord, but I'm not adding any new people into the Discord at this moment right now because I don't know what's going on with that set. But she can jump into Discord on her own and we can still communicate through it. Yeah, I don't deal with spiders at all. It was like about that big around, one of them furry ass wolf looking spider things. Ugh, nope.
You know they can bite you.
I know. I went like I felt something and I took my other foot and like brushed and I looked down and it was crawling away and I'm like, no, sorry. Smash, crunchy smash. Yes, I don't do spiders at all. Don't do it, Kels. Moni69, good to see you.
Those wolf spiders, like fiance was bit by one. I don't know how long ago it was, but his entire knee and leg swollen so bad, and then we drained like copious amounts of like just
My son,
nastiness.
my son got bit right here on his head when he was like 14.
Mm.
And my wife called me at work, right? And she was like, I think you might need to come home. I'm like, for what? She was like, Joey got bit by a spider. I said, I knew. He told me like 2 nights ago. And I'm like,
Oh my god!
I mean, I treated it, cleaned it, did this and did that. And I had him put some ice there. And he was like, she was like, no, hon, you need to come home. Something's not right. And I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, like, just come home. Okay. So I'm like, I was like, I got off in 15 minutes anyway. So I left work, came home, and I come in the back door, and he was downstairs. His bedroom was in the basement, and I was like, "So what's up?" She was like, "You need to see him," and her eyes were bugged out like that, and I'm like, "What the hell is going on?" She was like, "Joey, your dad's home." He's like, "Okay." He comes bopping up the stairs, doing his thing, comes around the corner, and I was talking to her, and she goes, "See?" And I turned, and I was like, "Oh shit!" All of this, like all of this, was out here. He looked like the Elephant Man. All poofed out and it was all fluid. And I was like, what the hell is going on? He was like, what? Like I scared him when I did. I was like, oh, nothing. It's all right. I said, have you seen yourself in the mirror? He was like, yeah, why? And I said, that don't bother you? He's like, what do you mean? He hadn't seen it in a while. So he goes walking off. I said, go look in the mirror. He goes in out through the living room into the bathroom and he did the same thing. He was like, oh, he comes running back. He was like, Dad, what the hell is wrong with me? I was like, I don't know. I guess he had been sleeping downstairs and woke up. It was literally like poofed out to like here, all around this area. It was all fluid. And I'm like, all right, go get in the car. We're going to the hospital right now. We go to the hospital. We
Crazy.
sit in the emergency room for, I don't know, 3 hours. Get in the back finally, see a doctor, and the doctor walks over and goes, he got bit by a spider. No shit. Why does he look like the Elephant Man? Okay. I mean, I was bit by spiders before, so have my kids been, but that. And he was like, well, it just depends on what it was. And then he looks at me and goes, do you have the spider that bit him?
Oh my god!
What? How the hell? Like, who does that? Anyway,
Well, if you got him, killed him.
whatever. But I was like, so what do I do so that my son don't look like this no more? And what is this, Because it was literally like out to here, guys. And my son's sitting there, his eyes are down here now, and he's all, freaking out. And I said, he's like, just put hot compresses on his head and up here. And I'm going to give you some antibiotics because, he goes, do you have any idea what type of spider might have bit him? I said, well, we have at that house, we had an infestation in the backyards of the wolf spiders. I said, I'm going to guess it was probably that. And I don't really know other than that. He goes, all right, well, do this, this, and that. And like literally the next day, after he started the antibiotics and stuff, and we did a couple hot compresses, it went down. But I was still like, where does that fluid go? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And he still, to this day, right here, has a bald spot. The hair does not grow back there. So,
Oh, that's crazy.
quite interesting. But anyway, sorry guys, I'm rambling again, as Clue says I do.
I said that.
Y- You don't even get to show your faces while you're making that stupid ass smile that you have, knowing that you said it.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, well, if I said it, it's right then.
No brown recluse, thank God. That scares. I have a friend that got bit by one and lost a quarter of his leg from that. It was crazy. He's got a big hole in his leg now because of that shit. All right, let's get this a rolling. I'm trying to find. These are hard because. All right, so this one is literally one of. This might not be the first one, but it's one of the first ones because I couldn't get these down to the day. I'm sorry. I was messing with it all morning trying to get them right, but it is what it is. I'm doing my best. Bobby J, Miss Lily, Carly Miles, Michelle Apple. Let's see. Rhode Island housewife. Good to see ya. All you guys. Anybody else that I missed? Thank you for Jackie Bushable. Good to see you. All you
I have a
guys.
question.
Thank you for jumping in. What's up?
I missed the first part because I was in my own little world looking up some research. What are we
Mhm.
doing?
We are going back and reviewing a bunch of the Goncalves interviews.
Okay.
Uh, somebody requested this a while. A couple people requested this a long time ago. Said that there's things that no, you're not going to send me no camel spider, Brandy, because I'll burn my house down.
Do it.
Um, them things aren't shouldn't even exist. Um, nope, I fixed it, Kim. It was spelled wrong, but I went and fixed it. It was driving me nuts. But anyway, because there's people that have said that they've heard things. We've talked about that too, Clue, where we may have heard things and can't remember where it's at. But a lot of people have said that. So we're going to go back and review all of these interviews to see if there are things we missed. Basically, though, to hear what they're saying, because there's a lot of people that believe that Steve is saying certain things to us. There's a lot of people that say that they're not happy with these interviews because one day they say one thing, one day they say another thing. So we're going to review them and see what we get out of it. So, and thank you for joining me to talk about this today. I appreciate it.
Of course.
So, here we go. And oh, as always, guys, please let me know what the audio sounds like. If it's too loud, not loud enough, whatever it is. Please, I appreciate it. I will turn on the subtitles just in case you don't understand a word that was said. And we're on.
Good evening, America, and welcome to this special edition of Cross Country in Moscow, Idaho. Tonight, we are in front of the Moscow Police Department, and you may be asking why. It's been about 3 weeks since the horrific stabbing death of 4 college students at the University of Idaho. 3 weeks since we lost Zayna, Maddie, Kaylee, and Ethan. 3 weeks, and still the police have no suspect or person of interest. The community has been left in limbo, left with more confusion and more questions. We are on the hunt for answers for them. Moscow deserves answers. The students of the university deserve answers. These 4 young innocent victims deserve answers, and so do their families. So let's start there. Joining
The first thing I noticed is this guy's not reading the teleprompter very well. At least he looks like he's struggling with it somehow.
me now on set, the parents of Kaylee Goncalves, Christy and Steve Goncalves. Thank y'all so much for being with me. You guys have been so transparent and strong for the public. Christy, you called the person that did this the boogeyman.
Yeah.
What did you mean by that?
It's literally like what nightmares are made of. Like when you're a little kid and you think of the boogeyman, that's just how I feel. Like that's just the horrific details of everything. Them just having a good time going home and going to bed, and this happening to them.
Your best friend crawling into bed.
just crawling in bed,
Every
and the
girl in
boogeyman
America
comes.
knows what that's
The
like.
boogeyman doesn't, you know, meet you at McDonald's. I mean, the boogeyman comes and snatches you out of your bedroom.
Steve, we've been talking. I've been talking to folks in the community. You said something that stuck with me. You said, until this person is caught, you can't sleep in your bed.
No, I can't just lay in my bed and do nothing. That's not the way I raised my family. That's not the way I raised my girls and my son. You don't be a victim.
Just so you guys know, this is from December 4th of 2023, guys. Or 20, I'm sorry, hold on a minute. Yeah, 22. Sorry about that. Anyway.
You stand up for yourself and you do everything in your power to make sure people hear you. And they're gonna hear Kaylee. They're gonna hear Maddie. They're gonna hear these.
The other two as well.
Yes.
All of them.
I'm careful saying anything about them because I need to be careful because I can't speak on somebody else's child. But these two girls, I'm not trying to be a glory hound, but these two girls, I'm going to do what I can do. And we're not being victims. We're going to fight. We're going to figure out how to make sure that we hold everybody, accountable, and we keep eyes and attention on this and get this thing resolved.
Steve, you have made it very clear to our audience that you are supportive of law enforcement. You support the investigation. But recently, I've been watching and talking with you, and you're getting frustrated. What does that frustration come from, sir?
They put certain people between you and the officers that are making things happen. And those people are like lawyers, and they don't want to say anything, and they don't have the guts to come up and be alpha and be like leaders and say, hey, we might say something that's wrong. We're going to take that hit. So the officers, they look me straight in their eyes. The lead detective looked me in his eyes. I have no doubt he's working as hard as he can, but somebody isn't communicating. There's nothing being released. It seems like they're trying to suppress the story. We want to put rewards out there. Like, don't do that. Yeah, I get it. Your town doesn't want to have reward posters posted all over when you come and you do your rush. You're not going to get a lot of students if they see those things. But this community is not going to heal until this guy's pulled off the streets. It ain't going to happen. Think it through. It's not going to happen. He has to be off the streets. We all are working for the same thing.
When was the last time y'all heard from the police?
Thursday,
we looked at our phone records. We want to be accurate. We don't want to sell anyone out.
about 3 o'clock on Thursday.
And did y'all get an update from the police about the investigation?
There was nothing. We have no updates for you.
There was no update. They
Via
needed me to
text.
sign a waiver form so that they could investigate something
Some mail.
that was mail related. So we're working with them. We're not selling them out. We love our law support.
The FBI, everybody that's here, we just have no information as family, and it gets tough day after day after day. I mean, every day you just wake up and think today's the day. We're going to hear something, and you see these, oh, there's a break in the case, and it'll just be something stupid.
The sixth person on the lease that was never there. Stop playing games. This is serious. These are people's lives, and this is the future of this community. There's going to be 10,000, 15,000 kids that come into this community next year, or they don't. So be serious.
I had the opportunity to speak to some of my sources, and I've been told that there were differences in the way that the victims were killed. Some were more severe than the other. And this week we heard the target attack walk back and then reverse it back to it being a target attack. What can you tell us about the targeted attack?
They have told us that it was targeted, but they told us they can't tell who. We asked specifically, and they said, we'll try to get that information to you. And they got back to us a day or so later, and they said, we're sorry, we can't give you that information. But then a day later, we saw in the news that it was not targeted, or they think the whole house was targeted. But
I'll cut to the chase.
Yeah.
Their means of death don't match.
Maddie's
They don't.
and Kaylee's cause of death, it does not match based on the autopsy report.
They don't match.
yeah.
Would indicate that one of them.
He doesn't have to
may
go
have
up
been
the
the target.
steps. Let's stop playing games, guys. I need somebody to step up and be an alpha. Be somebody to be a leader. Don't make me do it. I don't.
Okay. And let's review. So, are you there, Clue?
Yep. It's
Okay.
interesting, first and foremost, to me, how he says, till we get this guy off the streets.
As if they already, I mean, I don't, that could be a blanket statement, just imagining that it has to be a guy, maybe.
Yeah, but I
Um,
mean, from the beginning, everyone was like, how does one person do this?
like a single person, right? This guy or not, instead of saying these guys, these people.
Who did it?
Okay. Good point. Then, like he jumped right into that. If you noticed it, it was like he couldn't wait to say that. Now we got to remember one thing. This is 3 weeks after. There's
Yeah,
still
what was the
very
date again?
December 4th. I'm doing my notes with this as well. So the emotions were probably super high still. Super high. I would imagine I would be. And this part here, let me go back for just a little tiny bit here and redo this part for you guys.
An outfit. Be somebody to be a leader. Don't make me do it. I don't want to do it. He doesn't have to
May
go
have
up
been
the
the target.
steps.
Cause of death. It does not match based on the
When he brings up the cause of death, okay, and he says they don't match, you can see Steve get pissed immediately. Like he just blows. He has to say what he's getting ready to say.
autopsy report.
They don't match.
Would indicate that one of them.
He doesn't have to
may
go
have
up
been
the
the target.
steps. Let's stop playing games, guys. I need somebody to step up and be an outfit. Be somebody to be a leader. Don't make me do it.
So they're talking about the means of death, the cause of death, whatever, that they don't match. Why does that take him directly to that? He doesn't have to go up the steps.
I don't know.
You see what I mean? And it seemed to get him agitated immediately. So
Yeah.
that's the first question. I always had the same question with this interview. And I think people have taken that comment from him and broken it down in 17 different ways, thinking it means this, it means that, it means this, it means that. I don't know. Thank you, Zelda, very, very much. And thank you to anybody that has donated to support the channel with one of these links. I do appreciate that. It's definitely not expected, but beyond more than appreciated. So thank you all. And that's what I want to do with these guys is I want to break these down and try to understand what the meanings are. That's what everybody wants to do with this stuff. So why does he, and it makes me, that's what has always made me wonder on this. I'm glad that you're here with me on this too, because you pick apart small things and I love that. So
Well, it's the same thing with Miss Chapin. 2:00 will always be a dark hour. Like,
yeah, these comments,
what?
the specific comment, right? So we're talking about means of death being different, but then it automatically makes him jump to they didn't have to go upstairs. How does that match up? Does anybody have an idea? I mean, anything, because I can't put that together.
Unless he's alluding to the target was either Xana or Ethan.
That's what I thought. I thought that from the beginning.
When you're like, because they looked at it from a burglary angle.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he was saying you didn't have to go upstairs. Like, it's kind of out of your way.
Good point. Good point. Sorry, guys. I'm writing notes while I'm doing this. Thank you, Zelda, very, very much for that as well. I'm seeing if anybody has anything. I mean, this one is just one that is always with this interview. Those two things right there, right off the get, caught my attention. So I'm curious, very curious. And if anybody wants to throw anything in here about that, please do. Heather says, I think if the house was targeted or the stuff was on that floor. Okay, I got you. I mean, it always made me think that Xana and Ethan were targets, and he knew that for some reason, and that's why he said they didn't have to go upstairs. That's always stuck in my head, no matter what. So I couldn't really go any further than that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Okay, Mount Man says I think he means that the target was upstairs because if it wasn't, he wouldn't have went up there.
Oh, that's true too.
Yeah, that's another good point, Mountain Man. Good. See, that's why we do this, folks. And I'm writing all this down. You're looking for Sarge, Angel. I don't know where he's at. He might be napping. It's 3
He's
something.
fine sleeping.
Yeah, he's old, guys. He's got to get his rest. You know how that goes.
I mean, we were on the phone since like 9 o'clock this morning.
Yep. All right. The Cowboys. What's that? April says the Cowboys inside the home video. Home video shows one coming downstairs. Gotcha. Okay. And Miss Bonnie says yes. The fight earlier that he thought Dan and Ethan. Okay, that could make sense too. There's no wrong answer to this, folks. Just so you know. Okay, that this is a review of these and my breakdown. So anything you say is not going to be a wrong answer. Don't worry about that. Thank you, Zelda. Guys, if you haven't checked out Clue's channel, please do. There's the link. Show a little bit of love, subscribe, and let her know that you appreciate her like we do. So,
Oh, thank you, Zelda.
Yes, the Chapin family says 2 a.m. is a dark hour, and the G's seem to go along with the narrative of law enforcement now anyway, because 2 a.m. would be exculpatory for Bryan. I agree. Very good point, Bobby. Thank you.
Yeah, but they said that so long ago, the 2 a.m. thing. Like, I think I'd have to go back and see when that interview was, but maybe
I got him
maybe
in
that's
here.
I've always thought like maybe because that's when they decided to go home.
Yeah, could be. Very well could be. I'm going to actually put this in here for the Chapin.
That might actually be the case because then they got to where they were going to be. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. 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 Thank you, Clue. Appreciate you. Let's move on, guys.
I don't want to do it. He doesn't have to go up the steps. Their points of damage don't match. I'm just gonna say it wasn't leaked to me. I earned that. I paid for that funeral.
Okay, so the points of damage don't match. I earned that. I know, and this is anger speaking, folks. I understand. Okay. I get that in some ways this is anger, but things get blurted out sometimes when people are angry or upset that they would normally not want to say. Okay. And we've known about the whole points of damage. First, he says the modes, or how did he put it? The means of death didn't match. Now the points of damage don't match. So
that's so weird too.
I
don't know what that means.
Points of damage. So I'm guessing what he means by that are the wounds themselves. And what I've always taken that as is that based on what the PCA reads, I read in the PCA a possibility of 3 different types of wounds. Okay. But you're right. Before you even say it, I'm not saying that they're different, guys, but I'm saying they could be.
Yeah, but points of damage, like a point, like if you point to a place on a map, right?
It would be a place, yeah, a place on the body that don't match. Maybe, yes, no. Like if somebody got shot in their arm,
right,
or then somebody got shot in their stomach. Now we do know, based on what we do know, that there were chest wounds, and then, but also Kaylee had a lot more from what we understand, and like there were certain things about, I don't want to be vulgar, folks, and please, if some of this stuff I don't like talking about because I feel bad, and but I have to explain it, but I'm gonna throw this up just in case. That her liver was cut into, I do believe, and there was something else too. So that's different. And maybe that's what the difference is that Maddie just had chest wounds and Kaylee had a lot more. And I think that that's the case, it's because Kaylee was fighting back and moving around.
Probably.
Yeah, because I've always felt that Maddie may have actually been asleep. Okay.
I think she was. I would. Right. Yeah.
And she was attacked, and boom, that was that. She didn't move. Therefore, her liver and her lungs. Thank you, Jesse. So that's why I feel like Maddie may have just been laying there, was attacked, and didn't move. Okay. And then Kaylee, being that she fought back, we know that based on the newest interview, that she was up in a corner trying to get away in that situation. And her lungs and her liver. So that's your lungs are here and here. Your liver's down here. So they were all over the place on her, meaning she was probably moving all over the place. It sounds very rageful, okay? Unless it was just the fact that she was trying to get away and they were dancing around. That's why, maybe. But that's something else we're going to talk about too. Not right now, but I looked into something about that, and there's actually kind of an interesting theory behind that. So, English says that the knife could have been twisted or turned more or something, and I've thought that too, Riddler. Actually, based on something else Steve says about puncture wounds, they look more cylindrical. If you turn a knife, it will do that. Okay, so this is horrible, but it is what we talk about. All right, moving forward.
Paid for that. It's my right. You ain't taking that from me.
Calm down.
If you don't want to say nothing, that's your bet. But don't say I'm leaking anything. I paid,
I paid that bill.
Sent my daughter to college to get an education. She came.
Exactly. He paid that bill, but the other part of that though is don't say I'm leaking anything. If you don't want to say something, who's he talking about?
I don't know.
Law enforcement?
Do what?
You think it's law enforcement?
Oh yeah, I firmly believe he's talking about LE. But the question is what, right? Like what? Apparently they've already talked to him about leaking info.
Right.
But what is it that they were telling him to shut up about?
That's a good point. Very good point. And he seemed irritated about that. So somebody somebody went at him with something with this. Somebody was telling him, "Hey, you're making too much noise," and I do believe he hinted around to that at some point in one of these other ones too. So interesting.
Back in the box, and I can speak on that.
I was also told from sources that are closer to an investigation, because there was a lot of roommates in there. And this was horrific for those roommates that were there as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
The preservation of this crime scene. Witnesses tell me that it may have well been preserved because the phone was passed around between one of the fraternity members and the girls. One of them unfortunately witnessed the death, the body there. Can you confirm that?
We cannot actually. We know nothing about that whole phone call. We've asked, and it's. I mean, I know that a lot of people want to know, but that's just not our agenda. We just are like, somebody called 911. Somebody was reported unconscious. We don't really know. I mean, we've heard so many different things, and nothing has been clarified or been told to us at all. And I mean, I don't know if I personally have asked anything about that. I don't know if you have asked that, but we know that this is getting.
Yes, ma'am.
Just, I should have probably stopped you before, but did he say there were a lot of roommates there?
Yeah, I'll back it up. I was double. I thought I heard that too, but we've been at this for a long time. There are far too many coincidences for the PCA to be true, the narrative to be true, and in my opinion, for it to be the right suspect. I can get with you, Heather, on that. I get it. A lot of people feel that way. All right, let's try that part.
Our agenda. We just are like, somebody called 911. We know nothing about.
Have well been preserved. The preserve roommates in there.
Sent my daughter to college to get an education. She came back in the box, and I can speak on that.
I was also told from sources that are closer to an investigation, because there was a lot of roommates in there. And this was horrific.
There was a lot of roommates in there. I mean, there was two. Or is he just putting everybody together? All of them. Is that what he means, you think? Yeah, I can agree with that, housewife. Are you there, Clue?
Oh Lord, I'm sitting here talking to my damn self, trying to eat this chili and be on here at the same time.
It's okay. That's the part that you wanted to rehear again. Yeah, he said there's a
Yeah, it
lot
don't
of
make no
roommates.
sense.
No,
A
it doesn't.
lot? Like when is two a lot? And I heard you say that maybe he means all of them, but
There was a lot of roommates in there.
if he didn't immediately go into talking about preserving the crime scene because they passed the phone around and one
Hmm.
of them saw whatever, I would be like, okay. But it sounds like you're talking about living people.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
as far
That's
as
how
we know, there's only two. You know what I mean?
that's how I took it too. I agree. I do agree. I do agree for sure. Found out they was watching low cameras. Okay, gotcha. All right, here we go.
For those roommates that were there as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I paid for that funeral. Taking that from me. Don't say I'm leaking anything. I paid that bill. Sent my daughter to college to get an education. She came back in the box, and I can speak on that.
I was also told from sources that are closer to an investigation, because there was a lot of roommates in there. And this was horrific for those roommates that were there as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
The preservation of this crime scene.
Did you see that? Watch. Now, I don't try to read into everything, okay? But this is something I thought I caught a long time ago. Watch Steve react when he brings up the fact that this is traumatic for the surviving roommates as well.
Mm-hmm.
Watch his body.
Preservation of this crime scene. Witnesses tell me
Yeah.
the preservation of this crime scene. A roommates in there. And this was horrific for those roommates that were there as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
The preservation of this crime scene.
You see how he took that breath in, like,
I think it's more than that. You see what he does with his jaw?
mm-hmm.
Like he just starts slamming that gum.
Right there. It locks down like he's irritated, okay? And he's pissed off. I'm just saying, folks. I'm just reading this for what I see. That's all.
Scene. Witnesses tell me that it may have well been preserved because the phone was passed around between one of the fraternity members and the girls. One of them unfortunately witnessed the death, the body there. Can you confirm that?
We cannot actually. We know nothing about that whole phone call. We've asked, and it's. I mean, I know that a lot of people want to know, but that's just not our agenda. We just are like, somebody called 911. Somebody was reported unconscious. We don't really know. I mean, we've heard so many different things, and nothing has been clarified or been told to us at all. And I mean, I don't know if I personally have asked anything about that. I don't know if you have asked that, but we know that this is getting 3 weeks in and it's starting to get, we don't want it to go cold. We're reaching out. I've reached out to friends down in California today that have connections that we're hoping to raise some money to get a reward, to get a private investigator.
Third party.
Why go the private route? Do y'all worry that at the end of this week that this case may be
100%.
cold?
We're scared.
So that was said back on December 4th of 22, but there was never ever a reward put out, was there?
No.
Okay. And I don't know if it's because they caught Bryan at some point here shortly after this, or yeah, that's probably what it was. I would imagine.
No, he didn't. They didn't want one.
Well, I know that Moscow didn't want one put out. They didn't want the posters up. They didn't want any of that stuff. I get that, but I would venture to say I always wondered why that was about like that, but it's kind of weird. I get it.
You tell me you don't want to.
Did you say something else? Okay.
A photo up there with the reward offering information. That kind of sounds like you're trying to like suppress the story. I mean, why do you not need help? But hey, I could be wrong. And you officers, I apologize if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
I want to,
absolutely.
please forgive me. Please forgive me. But if you don't have the information, people do know. If they don't, then
Give us
the
something.
community, this is a community that is IT based. These guys live a digital footprint like we've never. All of us older people, we don't know how much that digital footprint could be helpful. So that's what we ask for. I hope like a DNA, a family lineage, if they could come out here and just start taking, this town is not that big. We could figure out this, and it might not be him. It might be a family member. We have family all going to the school together. You know, there's cousins, there's this, and it might not be him. It might be a family member. It's not that big. We could figure out this, and it might not be him. It might be a family member.
It might not be him. It might be a family member. Here we are referring to him, singular.
That's what I said. He's already done that once in this interview.
And this is
We
December
need to
4th.
get this guy until this guy is off the streets.
It might be a family member. That I never caught that before. That's
And this was when?
December 4th of 22.
Okay.
3 weeks after the murders. Wow. That's interesting.
But who is the him? Like,
That's what I'm saying. Him. Not them. Not they. Him. He.
We have family all going to the school together. You know, there's cousins, there's aunts, there's uncles. We could find this guy
Those,
just with volunteers.
Lineage companies were,
Put Idaho on the map.
Christy, Steve, we're going to stay on this case.
Thank you.
We're not going anywhere.
Thank you.
You guys have been candid with us. We'll keep asking.
Maybe a family member. We have family all going to the school together. You know, there's cousins, there's aunts, there's uncles. We could find this guy
Those,
just with volunteers.
Lineage companies were,
Put Idaho on the map.
Christy, Steve, we're
I
going
bet they knew.
Thank you.
We're not going anywhere.
Thank you.
You guys.
So December 4th, they would have already known there wasn't a hit in CODIS.
Yeah.
And they were going to have to go the route of IGG.
Right.
Or FGG.
Whatever it was, yeah. Right, it's not a family member. Stony Black Walnut. Hey, what's up, Sony? Gordon, what's going on? Oh, Gordon seemed to think they were talking about Showalter at that time.
Really?
What'd you just say?
Who?
My son.
Oh.
What are you saying really for? Why would that? Well, LA says it 3 weeks. Why would they know about IGG already?
Well, that's the next step if you don't get CODIS, right?
True. Very
With
true.
the FBI being involved, they probably told them that they were going to go that route.
And that comment got me too, KT. Put Idaho on the map. That's definitely different.
Which it actually wouldn't. IGG's already been used once in Idaho, but nevertheless.
But it seems to me that he knows that comment could also mean that he knows that this is something new. Okay.
But see, that's the thing though. It's like really not that new.
Right. I agree. I agree.
Because I mean, there are a lot of cases where IGG has been used. Now, granted, the last one that the FBI was involved in was in 2007, but still, right? It's
yeah, they weren't supposed to, but you know, we know how things have gone with this.
You guys have been candid with us. We'll keep asking questions. Any resource that we have available, our audience is praying for you guys.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. It was big for you guys to come back to Moscow tonight. I know it took a lot of courage to do it, and I'm hoping we can get some answers for you. Thanks so much for joining me tonight.
All right, so there's that one. And if you guys need me to go back to that one for anything, as you're sitting here thinking, let me know and I will. Other than that, we're moving to this next one here.
I hope this story here is all about these kids. Otherwise, it's just a cancer inside you. And I'm not willing to live with that inside me. We're not going to walk around with darkness in our heart for the rest of our lives.
Over 8 weeks ago, 4 young lives brutally taken in the
North Carolina. It doesn't give it an exact time.
It just says, well, first they later found the sheath, then they later located DNA.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no definitive time or place or whatever. So, yes, Riddler, that's true. So after 12 plus months, no phone, no cast report. Right. And KT says, did he mean use the IGG? Find out what they may find if someone from Idaho and put those specific people on the map. It could be KT. I don't know. That's why we're doing this. Thank you, Zelda, again for that. I appreciate you very much. Critical thinking, what's up? This is the first case in recent history where the FBI did all the work behind the scenes and wants zero of the credit. It's interesting. It is interesting. The way you put that makes it very interesting. Was Kopaka on the radar at that point? Phone scrubbed, but led to KOHBERGER. I don't know. Simply, I don't know. This one here. Thank you for bringing that up. Hold on a minute. The last one was from December 4th of 22. This one is January 9th of 23. Okay. All right. I agree, Miss Heather. To an extent, I do agree.
tight-knit college town of Moscow, Idaho.
But this morning, a grieving father of one of the victims, Goncalves, talks about the week that he finally started to get some answers. Investigators say Kaylee was killed in the same bed as her best friend, Madison Mogen, in a house just off the University of Idaho campus, November 13th. Downstairs, their roommate, Xana Kernodle, and her boyfriend, Ethan Chapin, also stabbed to death.
The man accused of murdering the 4 students was arrested in Pennsylvania, as you most likely have heard by now, and then flown to Idaho almost a week ago now. 28-year-old Washington State University PhD student BRYAN KOHBERGER is facing 4 counts of first-degree murder and a burglary charge for going into that home on King Road in Moscow with the intent to commit murder.
A detailed probable cause affidavit, a court document, was released Thursday, laying out why investigators think that he is the one who killed those 4 students.
And as KOHBERGER sits there in the Layton County Jail without bail, Goncalves told our Morgan Romero on Friday he is breathing a small sigh of relief.
Right now, the details made public.
Good morning, guys. Coming up
I miss what she meant to the family.
And she meant the world, the planner, the one who pushed the envelope. 21-year-old Kaylee Goncalves leaves a big void in her big family.
Holidays, she was the one who wanted to do the gingerbread houses and push it, but you know, to make memories, you got to do those type of things. So we'll miss that that gift that she brought to us every single day, and she was a little ornery too, so we'll miss that as well.
Kaylee's father, Steve, smiled as he reflected on her love of country music and concerts, and her love of her best friend, Madison Mogen, whom she grew up alongside and died alongside.
I just read a letter where Maddie wrote to Kaylee talking about their friendship, and you know, it was powerful, and you know, they were beyond sisters, you know, because sisters are, you kind of forced to get along. These two didn't, you know, they weren't forced. They were just like yin and yang. And
Kaylee, Maddie, and one of their roommates, Xana Kernodle, were stabbed to death in their house near U of I on the morning of November 13th. Xana's boyfriend, Ethan Chapin, was also killed.
I'm here for my daughter and Maddie, but there's 2 other people that are just as important, and their kids went through just as much, and their losses are just as real. Like I was going to be required to come out and make sure that the story didn't die, and we built some momentum, and we got everyone involved that we possibly could.
That momentum increased.
I mean, it took forever for me, but
Brian, did you do it? Brian, did you do it?
When police announced they arrested the man they think took the students' lives.
if there was ever a team, a dream team to solve a crime and put it together correctly, we got him. So that's why I just sit back and now it's just going to be a slow drag.
What are you feeling now that we know who the suspect is?
I feel relief. It was nearly 7 weeks of absolutely no clear guidance that we were on the right track. We had evidence. We knew there was evidence, but all that can. We had evidence. We knew there was evidence, but we were on the right track. We had evidence. We knew there was evidence, but.
So they had evidence pointing to him at that point? They knew that there was stuff there?
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Right. Hold on, what's the matter? Heather said something. Mandy, what are you talking about, hon? It's okay. No one's going to do that in here, or they shouldn't. What's wrong, Heather? I missed something.
I'm with Annie on that. They yell at him like, "Did you do it, Brian?" Like he's gonna turn around and be like, "Hell yeah!"
Right. Heather, speak what you feel, and yeah, you're not going to be judged, Heather. You speak what you think or feel on any. Nobody better judge you. We don't do that here. If anybody does, they won't stay here. That's all. You don't have to go anywhere, dear.
All that can mean nothing until you have a face and a personality to put it towards. Tell yourself to be careful because you never know for sure. You know, it's a defendant, and it's not done. There's still a lot more work to do. So that's where we're at now. We're ready for the next chapter to be, okay, we're going to go in and, we got the affidavit and we've seen that it wasn't a page, it wasn't 2, it wasn't 3, 4, 5. It was long.
An unusually detailed and long probable cause affidavit released Thursday lays out DNA, cell phone records, and video surveillance investigators say link Washington State University grad student BRYAN KOHBERGER to the crime scene. Investigators say they found a knife sheath next to Maddie's body, and the sheath had DNA matching KOHBERGER's father's DNA.
It was worth the wait, and they had a lot of.
Stop that! What? I'm sorry. What did that heifer just say?
Mm-hmm. Hold on, guys. Oh my God.
Oh, where's Sarge?
It was worth the wait, and
sheath next to Maddie's body, and the sheath had DNA matching KOHBERGER's father's DNA.
I'm just gonna say, y'all gonna start listening to me. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my God. That's the first time I ever heard that said that way.
No, it's not. You heard it last night, but you didn't want to.
You know what I mean? Like on the news and stuff is what I'm saying. Like, wow. I wish Cletus was awake. I really do. Huh?
Why? He didn't come up with that. I did.
I know that, but I wish Sarge was here right now too.
I wish Sarge was here right now. Damn Cletus.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
It was worth the wait, and they had a lot of evidence to show for that. So we're on the right track, and there's still a long ways to go, but it feels good. It feels good to be where we are right now.
The affidavit also said KOHBERGER's phone pinged near the girl's home on King Road in Moscow at least 12 times in the months leading up to the murders.
And close enough that he was touching their Wi-Fi, that his phone was touching their Wi-Fi.
Defense attorneys tell me the probable cause investigators put in their affidavit is likely just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to their evidence. But statements in this affidavit are not evidence on their own. Attorneys caution we still haven't heard the defense's side in the case. KOHBERGER is presumed innocent at this point, and he has a right to a fair trial.
What was it like seeing him in court yesterday? What kind of sense did you get from his body language and the way that he acted?
I got a sense that he was shocked that he had messed up so bad. You know, he had read that, and I think he knew how damaging it was, and he wasn't going to be able to explain a lot of that stuff very easily. He could, you know, I'm sure he thinks he can, but I seen a man who looked defeated, and his body language looked like somebody in shock and dismay. So I think he knows how much.
I didn't get that. I mean, if that makes him feel better, that's good. But I didn't see that from that video from Brian.
If anything, I got that he was really nervous.
Okay, of course,
Like the first,
that was his first interaction with the court and everything like that. I get it, because I've noticed that the hearings he shows up in now, he seems very relaxed with his the defense team. He just, I don't know. I didn't get that from him. Maybe nervous, yes, but nothing else. I don't know.
He has to go against, and he's the reality of it setting in.
The PCA also revealed one of the surviving roommates woke up to noises and saw a masked man in the home a little after 4 a.m. She told police she was in a, quote, frozen shock
Multiple sightings starting at 3:29 a.m. and ending at 4:20. Okay, the car. I got you.
phase when he walked past her to the back door. 911 wasn't called until noon the day of the murders.
So I think that's a natural thing for girls to freeze up and lock up and you know, put themselves in a position of safety. And I don't hold that against them. You know, I've already checked into the, you know, could they have lived?
I just think that when he said worth the wait, simply that it's just worth having to wait to get Brian into custody to have, in his mind, the right person in custody at that point in time during the investigation. That's all I think that meant personally. I agree, Lily. He did look calm. He looked calm. A little nervous, maybe, by his eyes shifting back and forth. I watched a lot of body language. I think his eyes were just shifty a little bit because it was the first time being in court. This is a huge thing. He definitely doesn't come off that way at all anymore. So,
You know, was it a slow bleed out or something? And it wasn't. So there's one bad guy here that slow bleed out or something. I've already checked into the, you know, could they have lived? You know, was it a slow bleed out or something? And it wasn't. So there's one bad guy here that.
well, that's something else that some people have asked. Were they alive for a while?
no.
You know what I mean? Then they weren't. It was.
I mean, the coroner said that they all had one fatal.
Yeah, right. Which is good. There was no suffering in that sense. So there's a lot of channels that are still putting out that they were alive till 7 a.m. Then one was alive till 5 or 6 a.m. Guys, here it is. Okay, and the coroner said that herself as well. It's just those things are not real.
I have to focus on.
Do you know of any connections between Kaylee and any of the victims and this individual?
To me, I mean, it's like 9-10 miles. I mean, I'd be shocked if these guys didn't cross each other in grocery stores.
Well, that wasn't a denial, but that wasn't him saying, yeah.
Stores and just everyday life. If he was over there for a year, I'm assuming that he followed them and he may have figured out what their patterns are, and then, you know, he tries to.
Wait a minute. Did he just say he was over there for a year?
You'd have to roll it back.
Hold on.
Life. If he was over there for a year, I'm assuming that he followed them and he may have. These guys didn't cross each other in grocery stores and just everyday life. If he was over there for a year, he
wasn't there for a year.
Mm-hmm.
June, July, August, September, October, 6 months. At this point, 7 months. Sorry.
It is weird that he's very specific to that, a year.
Right. That's way off.
Well, okay. So the only reason that we assume Bryan wasn't there for a year is because they searched his cell phone, right? From June.
Yeah.
I mean, he could have lived there before with a PA number.
Well, that or he's just got misinformation from other sources telling him that he lived there for a year or so. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I guess we gotta take some of this stuff with, whatever,
Yeah.
and just hear it for what it is. That's all. And that's the other thing too, is the tones of their voices when they do these interviews, their body language, their eyes. Just pay attention to that stuff as much as you can.
What is all that stuff on that stairway in that picture right there? Can you tell?
It looks like it just might be garbage, or like that looks like a recycle bin, that green thing right there.
Okay.
But if this is when police were there doing this, this could be their stuff that they're collecting from there.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah, because there's shit still at the top. I see it behind that guy, behind his leg.
right.
Across each other in grocery stores and just everyday life. If he was over there for a year, I'm assuming that he followed them and he may have figured out what their patterns are, and then he tries to bump into them, or he tries to hang out in those spots.
You don't think there's going to be some kind of connection that will explain this?
No, what kind would? I mean, like, my girl's bullying him, or what kind of behavior could explain somebody
That's
being
weird.
So
I mean, like,
why would that even come up?
Yeah, like why would you assume your kids would bully anyone?
Now, we all know it's in one of these interviews. And I'm not saying that it definitely doesn't justify anything at all, but it doesn't, and it may have been nothing, but it was talked about that they were referred to as mean girls at some time, right or wrong. Okay. But that's for him to automatically go to that is kind of strange to me. I'll be honest. No, he wasn't, from what we understand, Smiling Sleuth. He was only there for 6 months. It's snowing. Oh my God, it is snowing. What the hell? God, sick of that.
That sucks.
Yes, it does. They're big snowflakes too. Yeah, Kaylee's sister is the one. You're right, Kate. Kaylee's sister's the one that claimed her sister to be a mean girl. I remember that. And then of course, there was the rumor, and it's rumor. I don't know if there's any fact to it at all about the Hannah Cleary situation with Maddie. Those are things to think about. Not saying that they're real, just saying. It's snowing there too. Gotcha. Yeah, I didn't know we were supposed to get snow. Sorry. Moving on.
This brutal to another human being. I mean, he was probably obsessed with just their overall looks and their social media accounts and the fact that they were close,
Along with any possible connections, the affidavit also.
See, he said that more than once. The fact that they were close. In the one interview, I remember him saying he was jealous of their relationship and how close they were. Why is that a thing? I've never seen or heard anybody refer to that as being an issue.
I know, and why would a guy, like, unless he wanted one of them and thought that?
Yeah, why would
a
guy be mad at girls being friends? Right. Then Tony says Dylan, the sociopath, see, that fits. That fits. Another girl being jealous of those two relationships. That fits.
Yeah.
Not a guy. Interesting.
Also didn't reveal a motive. Because Kohberger was getting his PhD in criminology, Goncalves guesses he may have wanted to live out what he taught.
I think he thought in his little fantasy world that he was going to teach a class where he actually did it. No one had a clue. And then that gave him a sense of superiority. Like, you're getting your grades, graded by somebody who actually has lived this lifestyle.
The grieving father says rather than glorifying the suspect, with all the national attention on this case,
I hope the story here is all about these kids.
we have to remember to highlight the beautiful lives lost. He also feels he has to forgive the person who did this.
Otherwise, it's just a cancer inside you, and I'm not willing to live with that inside me. We're not gonna walk around with darkness in our heart for the rest of our lives.
Welcome, Pamela.
Have
Thank you
this
for joining us.
being there like a tattoo on our consciousness.
Morgan Romero, Idaho's News Channel 7.
A very strong father right there. Goncalves says he's grateful his family hired an experienced attorney to help them through this because it's just a lot to handle on their own.
And they're leaning on that attorney to help guide them through this legal process, and court schedule will continue to follow all that, obviously.
All right, so we're going to move on to this one now.
Mother and father.
Okay, this one is dated January 6th, folks, of 23.
Of Kaylee Goncalves. They've been patiently waiting by. Their attorney, Shannon Gray, is also standing by as well. And thank you, all of you, for doing this and giving us this opportunity to touch base with you. I know this has got to have been one of the most difficult days of your life. Steve, let me begin with you. Your reaction after laying eyes on the person accused of doing this horrendous crime against your family.
I just looked at a guy that looks like a normal, everyday, kid. I mean, I didn't see anything there that caught my eye. I just was overtaken by the fact that I was in a courtroom going over a case that had to do with two people that I cared and loved about. It was a little bit unreal, but I was just overtaken by the moment.
Christy, I can imagine that is an understatement, being overtaken by something. You're in a club no one ever wants to belong to. There are so many others across this country who have been through what you've been through and say the same thing. It's unbelievable. They're numb. Does that sum up how you felt? Can you tell me what you thought?
I expected to feel just this immense amount of hate. And I'm sure that will come. I think that I'm a little bit in shock still. But looking at him, I just felt nothing. I mean, I just looked at him like, and I couldn't take my eyes off of him, his every moment. And I just could not believe that he has done what he has done. And I had a sick feeling for sure. It was very emotional. But on the other hand, I just was numb.
You expected him to be a bigger monster and a more intimidating.
I mean, I'm like, this is the guy?
Yeah.
And see, they're not the only ones that have seen Bryan that way. That was one of the reasons why it was hard for me to accept that he did this way back when, because of the way that he comes across when you look at him. Not just his stature, the way he looks. Okay, so.
This is the guy that murdered our daughter.
Are you going to be okay with continuing these court hearings? Are you going to show up at all of these court hearings? This is a lot. It's a lot to process. Before this, you were just parents of a couple of really great kids and living the American dream. And now there's this new normal in your life.
I think we'll lean on the prosecutor to tell us if the information is going to be to a level. Like I've already told them what I'm comfortable with hearing about the family house. I don't want to hear any of the gory details. So there'll be certain days that we're there and certain days that we check out,
We have Shannon that will keep us in tune with that as well. And we have other family members that will be going on some of those harder days. They feel that they can be there because we know it's a long road, but and it's a drive for us, but we'll do it every day if we have to. We just don't want to do big bad details.
there's there on the screen there are pictures of Kaylee as you're talking, and I'm always struck by how much she looks like you. Absolutely
thank
stunning.
you.
Just such a
She was
beautiful girl.
beautiful.
Indeed.
Yeah, we didn't look
And
like mama's girl.
she looks like you, Steve. She's got some of you too. I just wanted to get a sense from you about justice. What is it? What does it look like for you? I mean, you're just starting this process.
For me, it's going to look a lot like an end. I mean, justice doesn't have a room where you can read books and you can go to school and you can have, 3 meals and you can have your.
Victoria, I did notice the hat, the hex hat, and the fact that he's related, his brother, and so on and so forth. I just didn't put that together with anything that has to do with this case. Me personally, that's
It
my
doesn't. I swear he's a Hexian. He like works
Yeah.
for them or something. IT maybe, but
either that or he just
to do with
supports it. Yeah, I don't think it has anything to do with the case personally, because I looked into it. I looked into his brother. It doesn't give me any reason to believe that there's any relation to that in this case. That's why I haven't really just said or done anything with it. That's all.
No, his brother's in prison. I mean,
Right. He committed some crimes. It is what it is.
right? Like, dog.
That's me personally. That doesn't mean that anybody that thinks any different is wrong. It's just me personally. That's all.
I just, if there is a connection, I would like someone to bring it out, what they think it is, because I'm like, I don't
get it. I
me
just
either.
put it together. That's all. Absolutely.
Your vegan diet, to me, that's not justice. Justice is when you leave the planet and the whole world is able to rejoice and be glad that you are not there. That's justice, and we will forgive him. We will. We're not going to have that heavy weight on us. We will forgive this individual, and we will, but he has to pay for what he's done. And it's not just our daughter, it's all the victims he needs to pay justice to. And, that's all I can say about it.
Yeah.
Chrissy, it's always a shock to face the person who's alleged to have committed these horrendous acts and changed your lives forever. If you could say something to this person, what would you say?
I just, I wouldn't want to give him too much. But I mean, I would tell him that, he destroyed our lives in an aspect. Does he realize what he has taken from us, from these 4 families? I mean, Ethan was a triplet. Maddie was an only child. Xana had siblings. Kaylee was one of 5. She was the middle child. She had 2 older siblings, 2 younger siblings. Just the immense loss. I mean, did he really think? I mean, he did really think about it, which makes it really hard. But why?
And I would add to that if you were looking for cruel girls that were bullies to you through your life when you were struggling, you picked the wrong girls. My girls have been through a lot, and they weren't the ones to pick on somebody that because they were overweight or they were struggling and people weren't. They were actually the ones that stick up for you. So yeah, you picked the wrong person if you were looking for vengeance on some people.
Hold on.
And you picked the wrong community.
Wait a minute. How do you go from
you need me to back up?
No, but how do you go from were my kids bullying him to
right?
They were the ones to stick up for you. What?
I was just thinking that. Just thinking that. I don't know. It is strange. I will say that much. Definitely. I think it possibly be a clue to EX. He's in other words Sigma. Okay. Gotcha. Yes, Tammy, Hex is crypto, right?
And we're gonna have to hold you accountable for that mistake.
Speaking of that accountability, has the prosecution or anybody from the prosecutor's office discussed the option of a death penalty? Because victims' families are consulted typically throughout the process, and this is an option on the table in the state of Idaho.
We've talked with them. We've had multiple meetings. I think they probably want to do it all the families together before they just approach one. That would make the most sense. But we've had meetings, but we have not crossed that actual
question.
Yeah, I mean, they couldn't even disclose just until recently that they were this close. They kind of said that, hey, give us some time. We think we have the right person. We're going to get this. But we couldn't go from that to death penalty or those type of details.
Do you both have a feeling as to how you would respond to that question once the prosecutors put it to you?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we know.
We're glad that we live in
And that
Idaho.
is,
Definitely.
I'm assuming that
Definitely.
you are in favor of the death penalty
Yeah.
for this
Absolutely.
defendant.
If our daughters could switch places with him, and I'm saying Maddie is my daughter, we'd do it in a heartbeat. If they could sit there and have 3 squares, a place to live, and we could call them, we could write
Yeah.
them letters, they could watch TV, they could get
I
educated.
would love if Maddie and Kaylee were doing life in prison right now.
Yeah, so
At least we could talk to them.
that's not
They'd be breathing.
a punishment equivalent to being killed. That's God's role. And if you want to play
Do you know
God's
if-
role, then you're gonna have to go answer to him.
Do you know if the Mogan family feels the same way? I know you all are very close with the Mogans.
We have not talked to them about that. I was going to call her last night, and I did not. So I'm not sure.
Easy to talk about.
I'm not sure, but I have a feeling that that they will, but I can't say that for sure.
They're very
I want to
forgiving
ask,
family.
it's incredible to hear the words forgiveness out of your mouth, Steve. It floors me. It's extraordinarily magnanimous. You're a very strong family if you're able to be there today, especially on day one of this process, seeing him for the first time. I would love to ask your attorney, Shannon Gray, if I can. Shannon, was there anything in the affidavit you didn't already know about? Are there things that you know more about than the public knows now?
Well, I think there were a lot of things in the affidavit that we had no idea about. The DNA and the sheath. We had suspected some things. The identification, I think we had suspected. But there were a lot of things that, there was quite a bit of information in that affidavit. I was actually surprised there was so much information in the affidavit.
The identification.
But
What of him?
Yeah, I don't know. That was different. I never caught that before. Let me go back and hear that again.
And the public knows now.
Well, I think there were a lot of things in the affidavit that we had no idea about. The DNA and the sheath. We had suspected some things. The identification, I think we had suspected.
What does that mean? The identification, I think we had suspected. Take care, Riddler. Is that an ID? Is that what? That's hard.
I don't know what.
I don't even know what the hell that means.
Yeah, I don't know what he would be referencing. If it's either like a ID or KOHBERGER, right?
The
Because I think
identification.
in one of the later interviews, Christy said something like they had started throwing his name around. I think it was like the 13th.
Maybe
So-
Moonlit. Maybe she's right. Stating Dylan's statement, IDing the person in the house.
Yeah, but she didn't ID anyone.
That's true,
Saw
but
someone.
that maybe that's what he means in a sense. I don't know. That's weird. Huh. Interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. Catch that.
But there were a lot of things that, there was quite a bit of information in that affidavit. I was actually surprised there was so much information in the affidavit. But, it looks like it's a solid case. And, I kind of look at the case in two different ways. As a former prosecutor, I look at it as a prosecution case, and it looks like a solid case. And then I flip the hat and I say, okay, as a criminal defense attorney, how would I look at it? And I still have a hard time with the evidence that's been mentioned in the affidavit. And that's not the entire case. There'll be additional circumstantial evidence that'll be provided that will make more connections, hopefully, with the defendant in the case. And like they've always said, it's not just a arrest, it's a conviction. So we're hoping that that's the case.
Hold on. Can you play that part where he's talking one more time?
Mm-hmm. No, the whole thing? Yeah.
It's incredible to hear the words forgiveness out of your mouth, Steve. It floors me. It's extraordinarily magnanimous. You're a very strong family if you're able to be there today, especially on day one of this process, seeing him for.
You guys have sound?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody in chat have sound? Gary said there isn't any. I just want to see if it's one person or everybody. Yeah, you might have to go out and come back in, Gary. Okay, it's just you, bud.
For the first time. I would love to ask your attorney, Shannon Gray, if I can. Shannon, was there anything in the affidavit you didn't already know about? Are there things that you know more about than the public knows now?
Well, I think there were a lot of things in the affidavit that we had no idea about. The DNA and the sheath. We had suspected some things. The identification, I think we had suspected. But there were a lot of things that, there was quite a bit of information in that affidavit. I was actually surprised there was so much information in the affidavit. But, it looks like it's a solid case. And, I kind of look at the case in two different ways. As a former prosecutor, I look at it as a prosecution case, and it looks like a solid case. And then I flip the hat and I say, okay, as a criminal defense attorney, how would I look at it? And I still have a hard time with the evidence that's been mentioned in the affidavit. And that's not the entire case. There'll be additional circumstantial evidence that'll be provided that will make more connections, hopefully, with the defendant in the case. And like they've always said, it's not just a arrest, it's a conviction. So we're hoping that that's the case.
What you got, Clue? What you got?
I just don't know what he means by that. When he looks at it from the defense part, he says, I still have a hard time with that. Is he saying that there's enough to convict, or there's still questions as to how it's him?
Mm-hmm.
Or does he look at it with difficulty as in, if I were a defense attorney, this would be hard? You know what I mean?
Go in any one of those directions, actually. Absolutely. Let me hear it one more time.
It's incredible to hear the words forgiveness out of your mouth, Steve. It floors me. It's extraordinarily magnanimous. You're a very strong family if you're able to be there today, especially on day one of this process, seeing him for the first time. I would love to ask your attorney, Shannon Gray, if I can. Shannon, was there anything in the affidavit you didn't already know about? Are there things that you know more about than the public knows now?
Well, I think there were a lot of things in the affidavit that we had no idea about. The DNA and the sheath. We had suspected some things. The identification, I think we had suspected. But there were a lot of things that, there was quite a bit of information in that affidavit. I was actually surprised there was so much information in the affidavit. But, it looks like it's a solid case. And, I kind of look at the case in two different ways. As a former prosecutor, I look at it as a prosecution case.
Good point.
And it looks like a solid case. And then I flip the hat and I say, okay, as a criminal defense attorney, how would I look at it? And I still have a hard time with the evidence that's been mentioned in the affidavit. And that's not the entire case. There'll be additional circumstantial evidence that'll be provided that will make more connections, hopefully, with the defendant in the case. And like they've always said, it's not just a arrest, it's a conviction. So we're hoping.
See that part right there. This is from January 6th. And he says, we'll make more connections with the defendant, hopefully. There hasn't been any more connections made. This was over a year ago at this point. So,
I mean, that we know of, though.
Well, yeah, I agree. Good to see you, Kara.
And I honestly, I'm probably one of the few people that doesn't look at them wanting the death penalty as so wrong. I mean, almost like an eye for an eye.
Listen, depending on, I guess, the situation, and it's something like this. Say, I've always kind of felt that, like, I think sitting in prison, depending on who the person is, I think sitting in prison thinking about what you've done for the next 100 years, if you make it that far, is a worse crime than anything, because you have no form of life. Now, I mean, you can't be sat out there in population and enjoying your life. You should be held in a maximum security prison where you're only out. You're locked down 23 out of 24 hours a day.
Right, but it's not like that, right? It's literally, they got TVs, they got cell phones, they got tablets. Like,
oh yeah,
bro,
that's true.
No, like if that were my kid, I'm totally where Steve and Christy are 100%. Like, you took mine,
I get
somebody
it.
needs to take, you know what I mean?
I get
Because
it.
they are right. Like, that's not
An eye
really
for an eye. I understand all of that. Yeah, if it was my child, I do feel like that would be my thought as well. Just prove that it's him before you do
right.
it.
Now the evidence would have to be, like, I would have to not question a thing in order to give my okay on that punishment.
Right. Exactly.
Hoping that that's the case.
Steve and Christy, when we covered the tragedy that befell Gabby Petito, her father, Joe Petito, said that there were some lessons that he learned very early in the process, and that was to pay particular attention to your other kids because they are going through an immeasurable trauma. Have you had a chance to navigate this with your other kids, with Kaylee's siblings, and have you charted a course forward?
Yes, we have our two are adults and they are grown, and we have talked to them, and they know, they can reach out to grief counseling and whatnot. And we are very open and we talk a lot about it. We cry a lot about it. And that's not always enough. But our two younger children, right now, we are kind of letting them.
Did she say grief counseling?
Early in the process, and that was to
are adults and they are grown, and we have talked to them, and they know, they can reach out to grief counseling and whatnot. And we are very open and we talk a lot about it. We cry a lot about it. And that.
Is that what you meant?
Is she saying grief or Greek?
Grief, like grief counseling, grieving, grief.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe it was something with like the fraternity or something.
Oh, no. That would have been crazy.
I mean,
it does sound like that a little bit if you listen to it quick, though. Grief counseling, right?
That's not always enough. But our two younger children, right now, we're kind of letting them do their own grieving for a little while longer before we start some grief counseling with the church. They have some great people for us to reach out to, and we plan on reaching out to them. I've been talking to the pastor on a daily basis, and he has some really good, they go through grief counseling himself as the pastor, and he has a team like for teens and whatnot. And he feels that they are like the best, and I trust him. He's a great man, and he's got us through a lot here lately. And we feel that we just don't want to throw it on them, because right now they're like, no, we don't need that. But I don't see how they cannot not need that. They're young, and they're heartbroken and they're confused.
Yeah, this was their friend and sister.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
So,
and you know,
unfortunately,
Maddie as
they
well,
don't-
right?
Yes.
I would assume that Kaylee's siblings were very close with Maddie as well. This is a tremendous amount of burden to try to process for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, Maddie was very kind and had been a sister to them for so long that it was just, we took for granted that she was there and that she would always be there. So yeah, it hits everybody a little bit different, and you have certain memories that you tie to certain individuals. So it's my girls miss them both, and my son is torn. You know, it's something we're gonna have to work together. We're not very good at this kind of stuff, but we're gonna have to figure it out.
Yeah, we're not, and it's not something you want to be good at. But just
I'd like to,
as a family.
I'd like to introduce you to Joe Petito. I think it might be, helpful just in terms
we'll
of
take
the.
advice from somebody who's been there for.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not.
Be pleased to do that. Shannon, we'll speak.
Could you imagine Joe Petito and Steve Goncalves together? Did you follow the Petito case?
Yeah, I did.
Joe is a lot like Steve Goncalves, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think they'd be interesting together, to say the least.
After the program, and I will connect all of you together. I do want to ask you, Steve, about some of the information in the affidavit. It seemed as though the police had their eyes on this suspect within 2 weeks of the crimes being committed, and yet for 4 more weeks, he was in Moscow, he was in Poland, he was crossing the country. And I wanted to get your thoughts just on the notion that there were so many other people, classmates, neighbors, both in Washington and in Pennsylvania, who may have been at risk because they were so close to him before he was actually brought in cuffs. What were your thoughts about that?
I think we all kind of shared that as a community, that there was a risk of somebody being out there. And I took that very personal, because I had so much weight on top of me, and I knew all these other victims that were associated with my family were being hurt with just overall media and coverage. But these guys, there's no perfect way to do this. And these officers they just did an amazing job. And I was hard on them, and I'll come out and say that I owe them all the gratitude in the world, and I've always supported the police. But
now, why did that change? Because they got someone in custody? I mean, is that why it changed, or what? Because I think everybody noticed him go from the first interview we watched to this one. He was completely 2 different people. He was nowhere near as hot. He was a lot calmer.
Yeah, but at least in the first interview, he did say, if I'm wrong.
Yeah, he did.
You know what I mean? So
and he apologized right then and there. I agree. So, I mean, is it just because they got Bryan in custody then? Is that what calmed him down, you think?
Probably.
That's what I was thinking too. I agree. I still feel like he's very, as I've asked before, or said before, I'm sorry, that I don't think they've had the ability to grieve the way they should. And I think their emotions still play a lot into what the things that they say, per se. All the way through this. That's my opinion, but I'm just saying.
It's the school of thought that I come from. Like, everybody can do their best, and they need to come to the every day trying to be the best person that they can possibly be. So I won't back off of that, but these guys did an amazing job. They need more credit than they had. I mean, people think Idaho is so old-fashioned and out back, but these guys, they hit a home run, man. That affidavit is impressive, and I'm glad to be wrong. I wanted to be wrong, and I told them to their face. I looked them in their eyes. They hit a home run, man. That affidavit is impressive, and I'm glad to be wrong. I wanted to be wrong, and I told them to their face. I looked them in their eyes and said, prove me wrong. And all is forgiven. And here we are, and all is forgiven. And I'll say that on camera.
So how did they prove him? How did they prove him wrong? What was he wrong about?
Well, I want to know what was forgiven. Like, what did they?
Right. That all goes into that same basket.
Maybe that it was going to go cold.
That's the only thing I could think of, because nothing else was really stated. Yeah, the other interview was 3 weeks in, right? Lily, and this one is January 6th. Yeah. So, yeah, that's a good point too. I mean, like, what did he forgive, and how did they prove him wrong? What was his thought on this?
Maybe because they weren't communicating with him too.
Yeah, that's kind of, yeah, that makes sense. Nellie said Christy doesn't want justice; she wants revenge. I think she wants both. Nellie, in my opinion, I think she's just angry, which I would be too. That's your job. I don't blame that. I don't blame them for that. Because I can't say that I wouldn't. I'm not gonna put on airs and say I'm not mad. I forgive them. I this, I that. I can't. I can't say how I'm gonna feel because I haven't experienced this. Thank God. That's why I've always felt so bad for them, because I don't think they know how to act. What's the right way to act in a situation like this when you're talking on the news about this situation? That's hard, guys. We don't know unless we've experienced it. I don't know, Evie. I would love to know where Eddie is. I wish he was here because I'd love to hear his input on stuff like this. So I don't know, guys. That's just my opinion on about that. So I can't blame her for wanting vengeance. She's a mother. And he's a father. Both of them would look at this in two different ways. I know I'm a father. Clue's a mother. We both have different views on our children in different situations, in different ways. We could both react completely different or the same. It just depends on how we are as parents. Men and fathers are different than women and mothers. Period. There's just no two ways to talk about that.
And I mean, you know what? Like I'm a firm believer of you don't know how you would react until you're in a situation, and I learned that lesson like 150,000% before. And what I always thought I would be like, I was the exact complete opposite. So you really, to sit here and even say that I agree with them, that could not be true, because again, until you're put in a position, you can only speculate on your own actions.
Yep.
How you going to sit there and not even listen to me come back talking about yep?
I was listening to everything you were saying. I just had to step like 10 feet away from me to grab my coffee cup. No, I agree with you.
I would have popped for you, but I'm not going to.
I've always felt the same way that you're about to be mad because I'm gonna call out everything you said. I've always felt the same way. We can't ever say we could try and say how we think we would act in a situation like this, but until it actually happens, okay. I've been in situations where I've had to deal with children that have ended up deceasing, okay, passing away, but I'm not their parent, so it's easier to handle it that way. But as they're a parent that loses a child, nobody, I don't care who you are, nobody can say, oh, I would do this or I would do that or I would be this way or that way until it happens. God forbid, it never does. But I don't think any of us can say that we could until we're in that same situation. I really truly believe that. I've seen other parents react to that like this here. I've seen it in real life. And I've always stepped back and said, oh, I don't think I would do that. No, I wouldn't do that. But I don't know. I don't ever want to know either. Okay. So
yeah,
just saying, I did hear everything you said, woman.
My bad.
Anyway. All right.
Camera, and I'll tell everybody, I was concerned, but I was wrong. They were right. And I'm okay with that. I have my person now. We have our person of interest, our defendant, and we will go after him, and he better be ready.
I can't thank you enough for spending the time with us tonight, Steve and Christy and Shannon as well, especially on a day like you've been through today. And I send you love and strength as you embark on this journey. And I look forward to covering this as well and seeing justice actually coming through for all of you and your families.
Thank you. You've been dedicated to this story. That's why we're here, because we appreciate hard work and effort, and you have been amazing. You have been so strong on this case, and it doesn't go unnoticed.
And I believe the same with Bryan. I think Bryan is one of your coworkers, and he's been great as well.
Well, we'll continue. We're not letting go. We're going to make sure that we're on it as well with you. Again, as I said, on this journey, and as I said,
that's where you're supposed to say thank you, Ashley.
Yeah,
for the
right.
compliment. I mean, what the hell? I can't stand here. I can't.
so-
I never liked her.
She's
I
so
like
full of
Bryan.
herself. Like, oh,
Yeah, I like Bryan. I always have. I don't know what it is, but I like it. I just don't like her. She makes me sick. Anyway, Nellie, first off, I'm so sorry. My condolences. That's horrible. And I never thought about the death penalty, and you know something I was able to hear. Good. I mean, God bless you. That's good. Some people have the strength to do that. Okay. And I can't say that, I would hope that I could be that person, but I don't know. And I'm not going to tell you guys I would do that wholeheartedly, 100%, because I don't know. And I'd be lying to you to say that I do. And I hope I never do. No, I'm sorry to say that. Again, Nellie, I'm sorry that you had to have that experience. I wish that nobody ever has to experience something like that. But it does happen, unfortunately, sadly. Make sure I got that. Yeah, I agree, Tony. I agree.
Shannon, I'm going to connect with you after the program and hopefully get you in touch with Joe Petito. It'll be, I think, helpful. Thank you both. Thank you, all three of you. I so appreciate it.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
Let's start out with.
Now, as I said, guys, these aren't going to be in any specific order. I just kind of threw them all into queue, and I didn't take the time to organize them, but we can separate them for what they are. This is the newer one. I think this is the newest one. November 14th, or no, second to newest one. And again, this way we're going to get to see the differences in them over this year period of time, and then we can go back to seeing it again from the old way. So no problem, Tony.
It's been almost a year. I mean, it's hard to believe, right? How are you guys doing? I think people would love to know that.
I think we're doing the best we can. And I think that is to be thankful to all the people that are wondering about us. They really get us through, coworkers, friends, they're like family now. And I think it'd be much harder without all the love and support.
Yeah, we got a page where we're able to talk to people all across the world that this has made an impact and change in their life. So that helps. Christy can share and say she's having a rough day or a bad day, or post a photo or an image, and she gets that some positive feedback.
Lots of positive feedback.
And friends of Kaylee that we haven't even met send us photos of times that they had together. So whenever you get to see new photos of your daughters, and I pass those on to the other victims' parents as well, and that's always nice. So
that would mean a lot.
It does.
That would mean a lot.
I love a new photo when they come across. He'll send them to me and say, "Have you seen this one?" And I'll do the same. "Have you seen this one?" "Oh my gosh, no, wow. Oh, I love it."
Yes, new photos.
I hope it never stops. She had a ton of spirit. She was fun. She, she loved hanging with her older sisters, her sister and brother, his friends.
She's very close with her siblings.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about the siblings and what the order is?
So Olivia's the oldest, and then Steven, then Kaylee, then Autumn and Aubrey.
Well, let's talk about Maddie and Kaylee because how old were they when they met? 6th grade? Is that what I heard?
6th grade.
Okay. Tell us about that.
Well, they met early on in that 6th grade year, and they
The charter school, they had uniforms.
uniforms,
They didn't think they were cool at all.
and Kaylee came home talking about this Maddie girl, and the rest was history. I mean, it was Kaylee and Maddie, and
But it started with Maddie's mom coming over here and like interviewing us. Sat on our couch, talked to us.
just talked to us.
Yep.
She was very concerned,
Making
very,
sure
very
it was a safe
protective
place.
of, Maddie spending the night places or even coming over for a couple hours during the day,
But it ended with us taking her daughter to another country and
her taking our daughter, to Hawaii,
so
and very
trust was there after.
Yes. But and they were just inseparable. Kaylee was either over there or Maddie was at our place. So they had the best of both worlds. They did high school all together,
And college.
graduated, and
Picked the same school.
Yep. They both went down there and
They rushed in the same week,
Mhm.
went down there.
Yep.
They wanted to get in the same one together, but I don't know how it worked out, but they ended up getting two
going
different
separate ways. And they were, so sad. I'll never forget that day, and they were so sad, and, they were happy where they wound up and whatnot, but they weren't together in the same house. And it wound up being the absolute best thing for them, for their friendship.
So they loved U of I. They had a great experience
they
there
did.
for those
Yeah.
first 3 years. They really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kayla was pretty much graduated. She just did her finals on Monday, and that was her last class. Or that would have been her last
Would have
class.
been her last class on Monday.
Yes.
And she was coming back on Tuesday.
What do you want people to know about these girls?
These girls, as I refer to.
Okay, I'm only going to say this once. I'm not going to call out anybody particular, but I will not, and I repeat, will not put up with victim shaming in here. I don't care whether it's true or not true, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It's not going to happen. Okay. This is not the channel for it. I don't talk about it in here. I will not allow it to be in here. And that's the one warning people get. Other than that, if you don't like it, then just leave, period. The next time it's typed in the chat, you're booted immediately and you will be banned permanently because I do not handle that, nor do I put up with it. So end the story. Thank you.
Them now on the Goncalves Facebook page. It was at first when I post, my girls, and it's not even my girls anymore. It's our girls. Here's some new pictures of our girls, or, here's a throwback of our girls. And I mean that, they are everyone's girls. And you could see that in photos of them. I mean, you could see the happiness in them, the love, just the bright light. They were just out to live their lives to the fullest, to be successful.
Mandy, please watch for that because one more thing gets typed like that and I want them gone immediately.
Successful in life, to work hard, to eventually be married and have families and have good jobs, and it was just unfortunate what happened, to the two of these. I know it's more than two, but these two very best friends, it's just it's real, and people, I don't think sometimes understand that this isn't TV. And yes, there's TV shows about it, but it's real.
And Mandy,
This is your life.
This is our life.
They're not characters.
No.
It's not entertainment. It's a disaster for us. And these kids didn't do anything wrong. Everybody wants there to be some type of decision that could have been this way or that way. These kids did everything by the book, the way you're supposed to do. They went to bed at night, had a dog. All the things you'd think that would keep this from happening didn't work in this particular case. So I think that's the message that I want the community to know, that
these are everyone's girls. This could happen to anyone. There isn't, we as a society have to stop it.
Mhm.
We can't just out behavior it. We can't figure out a way to just be a little bit better or walk a little straighter line, and then it won't happen to you. You have to succumb to the fact that there's people out there doing evil things, and we have to figure out how to address those people and get them off the streets before they do this to your family or to another set of kids that are just getting educated and going to school and come home at night and go to bed.
Just enjoying their college life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I think everybody has seen the food truck video. I mean, it really sums things up. I mean, to me, their relationship, you know, in that little clip and the walking, you know, what did you tell Adam? You know, that whole, I told Adam everything. I mean, it just, it's heartwarming, but heartbreaking at the same time to watch those videos. I mean, I could watch them and smile, and I could watch them and just cry, you know, just to have them captured. And Maddie with that big old jacket, and, you know, and Kaylee saying, Maddie,
we can share it.
We could share it. And, you know, it just, so Kaylee and Maddie,
and
you know,
you hear about kids that
and the
drink
pictures
and drive. They got a professional driver to take them back. They did everything the way you're supposed to do it.
Yeah.
They even had chaperone walking with them. They weren't going down dark alleys by themselves.
The really popular pictures of the 4 roommates and Ethan.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love those pictures.
They were taken that day. They were taken earlier. Kaylee texted them to me about a little after 2 on Saturday. And with Maddie up on her shoulders. And that is the last text message that I have from Kaylee, is that picture of her and Maddie. And I replied to it, my lovies, with heart eyes. And then we had a phone call after that. And that was the last time I talked to Kaylee. But that picture of Maddie on her shoulders is the last text message that I have from Kaylee. And it's around 2:13 on Saturday.
Oh, there's just no way to know what was coming.
No. And I look at that picture, and I just think, I would never thought that this would be the last picture, or that phone call that I got, you know, 20 minutes after that picture was going to be the last phone call. You just don't think that. And it's real. It's realer than real. I mean, it really is.
It is. Well, I just love the fact that you guys have put together this beautiful Facebook page.
Yes.
And that you share so many wonderful memories and pictures that we've never seen before. People who love your daughters, because I'm calling Maddie your daughter because she basically is another one of your kids. But it's just so heartwarming to see the love you're getting from all over the world. Tell me why you were inspired to even start that page, because it does put you in kind of a vulnerable position, right? Sharing such personal things.
Yes.
But it looks like it's really a beautiful thing in the end.
Well, it originally was, I don't even really remember when it got started, but it originally kind of started for tips. Like, if you have any tips, you could, you know, come to us with tips or information. And I quickly had a different name, and I said, you know what?
Once we got a suspect.
Yeah, I said, we're going to change this, and we changed it to the Goncalves family page. And I said, this is going to be, you know, to say good things and to bring light and positivity. This isn't going to be, this isn't TikTok. This isn't YouTube videos. You know, this isn't, you know, speculative. Yeah. Because they're out there, and, you know, they're just so yuck, you know, and I wanted to be positive. And so I kind of started running it a little bit more. My sister runs it, Steve runs it, and Olivia runs it. And, you know,
photos started coming in when people realized that that's what we were really looking for, was just a connection to her friends and the people that she grew up with that had, you know, everyone has a cell phone, everyone has a set of videos.
Oh, yeah.
And those started flooding in. And
little flip phone pictures and stuff, you know, from elementary school. Like, you know, I went to elementary school, and I have this,
it's
you know.
just as beautiful.
It's amazing. And I've told people on that page before that I wish that I could reply to everybody. I can't, unfortunately. But I read all of it. I wake up in the morning and that's the first thing I do. I take about 10, 15 minutes of time reading the messages, the comments. And before I go to bed, that's the last thing I do. And I want the people out there to know how important it is to me
It
and
made
how
a difference in our lives.
I'll share things with him like, oh my gosh, look what this person said, or look what this, or listen to this, or I'll screenshot it and share it to my family. And it is it's overwhelming and it's very emotional. But it also, when they say they share our grief and they pray for us, we feel that. We really do. I don't know where we would be without all the support from our community and the support from that page. It's therapeutic for me. And I don't know if the people really realize that. I try to get that point across. And I wish that I could reply to every single comment. I would have to quit my job.
Yeah.
I literally would.
Well, there's like over 50,000 people on there.
Yeah.
I think.
And it just, certain pictures just absolutely, people just go insane over. And we try to thank everybody for the gifts that we get because, it just comes in volumes.
Yeah. It's nice to see the world too.
Oh, yeah.
I love Idaho. This is my community. I'll always be first. But it's nice to see that my daughter, in a way, has been thought of and seen and, in a way, visited all these different places, Australia, Norway.
By proxy, that she's being thought of there. We had a lady go to Jerusalem and wrote a prayer and took a video of her folding up the prayer with our name on it, sticking it into the Wailing Wall.
Yeah.
And took photos and recorded it.
Like the day before all of this.
Yeah,
broke free. So
yeah, we were just like, oh my gosh, this lady's in Jerusalem. And she said, and I said, thank you for thinking of us. And she said, I couldn't not, she was over there on vacation or whatever, visiting. And she thought of our family to stick a prayer into the Wailing Wall,
So that's why it's easy for us to share.
People love you guys so much. They love your daughter. They love your family. They know you now. So they just want to reach out in any way they can, really.
Yeah.
So we were talking earlier about Murphy. Let's talk about Murphy and how special he is. And he still has an Instagram page going that people really love.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get to see Murphy? I think people would be
He's a lot
interested.
cooler than us. We're Facebookers. He's
Instagram.
Yeah, he's cooler.
Yes, Murphy is Murphy Goncalves on Instagram, and Jack runs that page for him. And they do all kinds of things. Jack,
camping.
They go. Jack is very outdoorsy. There's pictures on there with Jack and Murphy paddleboarding. Camping. Murphy's Jack's. I would have to say one of his best friends.
Comes over here.
We haven't seen Murphy for a while, but we do see Jack. But he usually does bring Murphy. But last time he was just kind of passing by working, so he didn't have Murphy with him then. But said that Murphy's doing great, and his family loves Murph. And I have an Instagram account now just so I could follow Murphy because
It's the first dog for their family.
Yes.
We've always had dogs.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And Jack always had to put up with the dogs from Kaylee.
Yeah.
And then it kind of went full circles. They got a dog together, and then he became a dog person.
He's a dog dad.
Yes, he's a dog dad. Yep.
Yes.
And it's probably the perfect
Matter of
medicine
fact,
for him.
some of their last texts together were, Jack, we share a dog.
You need to talk to
You
me.
need to answer my text message. We share a dog, literally,
They had joint custody.
Yes, and Jack would come over because they were a little broken up at the time, and Jack would come over and pick up Murphy and take Murphy to the park and then take him home to
Take
Kaylee.
turns.
Yeah, it was really cute. I was like, you guys are so funny.
How you gonna practice for a divorce?
You went with them to go.
Yes, we went to Salmon.
What'd you say?
Why these kids or these parents act like these kids were practicing for a divorce?
Yeah, I know. I guess it makes them feel good about it.
And I'll say this much: them saying that she was telling him, "You need to answer my text message. We share a dog." It's very weird. Was Jack kind of maybe avoiding her?
Possibly. Very possibly. right? I mean, I get it. I get it. It's hard for me to understand. We don't have too many religious people.
Do what?
I'm reading Jenny's comment. I don't understand why you all think PK's innocent. Not everybody thinks he's innocent. I never said he was, Jenny. I just don't think he's guilty yet. I don't think he's innocent or guilty. They haven't proven that to me at any point thus far. That's my thought on it. So, truthfully, for me to have faith left in the law enforcement community and judicial system, I hope he is guilty. For the time that he sat there and all the resources they've wasted and spent putting him there and keeping him there. That's my thought. But if he's not, then he's not. He doesn't deserve to be there if he's not. That's all I'm saying. But I don't, at this point yet, think he's innocent or guilty. So I think he's innocent till proven guilty. But I don't think he's not. They're not showing me anything that tells me the dude's guilty. That's all. So, and I think a lot of people feel that way too, Jenny. There are some people that do feel that he's innocent. There's a lot of people that think he's 100% guilty. And, you know, we all have different thoughts, different minds, and they all belong to us. So that's okay.
Idaho.
Okay.
When they bought Murphy, and they were picking out, and they're like, "Which one?" I'm like, "I don't know. I'm just
What was
sitting
it,
in the
like
car."
7,000 feet, the altitude up there?
Oh, it was crazy when we were going over.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it got really, really high, and there was snow, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh,
Put
you
him in the
guys."
back car, and they were like, "Something smells really bad."
Oh, he was so stinky. He was
Poor
so
little guy.
stinky.
Oh, he's such a cute dog. He's your grand dog.
Yes, he's our grand dog.
Yeah. So I also noticed on Facebook you guys share about beautiful Maddie K.
Yes.
Who is 8 months old now?
Yes, Tuesday. Tuesday.
Yes. So tell us about Maddie K.
Today.
Is it today?
Today.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. Well, Olivia sends us lots of pictures
And videos.
and videos, but she's crawling. She's after her older brother and sister.
She's gonna be a middle child.
she's literally their Kaylee. Because she's got the older two, and so right now, and they plan on having more.
Brother, sister.
And then, oh my gosh, she is a chunk of monk. She loves food.
Every picture's a foodie picture.
Yes, yes, she does, and she's a mover. Yeah, she's a mover. She smiles so much. That baby, every picture is just
Looks like her
smiling and
daddy.
giggling. Yeah, she's a mini Rob.
Yep.
She's so precious.
She is so adorable.
Tell us about the meaning of her name.
Well, that was, Kaylee and Maddie knew that Olivia was pregnant, and they knew she was having a girl before they passed away. And then,
They planned on being there.
yeah, and but it was just Olivia and I were in the kitchen, and it just came up. We were like, "What are we gonna name the baby?" You know,
Everyone was still grieving.
And it just came to us, and we got a piece of paper out and we started writing it different ways, and MADDIE, capital KAY, MADDIE dash KAY. And we all like the MADDIE, capital KAY, no dash, the capital K, the capital M.
I said it sounded like a
And
makeup line.
we just fell in love with it.
It does.
So it is her middle name. Theodora is her first name, Theodora Maddie K.
So this baby and all of your grandkids have brought you so much joy.
Yes.
Yeah, good distractions to get out of your head being in a dark spot and think about, what you can do to make every day a little bit better for the people around you.
Mm-hmm. Tell me about the year anniversary. Obviously, it's tough that it's going to be a full year, right? And maybe does it feel like it's been a longer time than that, a shorter time than that? How do y'all feel about the year mark?
I'm hoping we get a schedule. I want to have an end date. I think all the families want an end date, and we're thinking next year will be the end, and we can get back to, our lives will never be the same, but they need to go back to where this isn't just, something hanging over our head. So we can put this chapter to rest and then, figure out the next move that we want to do as a family. So I'm hoping we get a schedule.
I feel both. I feel like it's been forever, and I feel like it was yesterday. so much of it has just been a blur. I know that it's been tremendously painful. And I know that that's still coming and it's not
Hey,
over.
Kelly.
Hey,
And I don't think
Dingo.
that it will ever.
Yes, ma'am.
I gotta jump down,
Oh, okay. Cool.
but I might be back if
Hey,
you're still on.
everything all good? Well, I'm
Yeah.
probably about done now. Yeah, some of these are just good interviews. It doesn't say a lot of anything in it to stop it with, so that we're just rolling through it. And I may have to split it up and do it. I mean, because there's other. I want to actually go back and look at Ethan's parents and a few of the other ones too. So I bet I may be back in here tonight again, guys. I kind of enjoyed doing 2 yesterday. We might do it again, but thanks for jumping up here with me. I appreciate it. And make sure you tell Cletus I hope he gets better.
I will. I'm about to go check on him right now.
All right, kiddo. I'll see you in a little bit.
All right. Bye.
Be over. I mean, and it would be nice to get the court proceedings over, just so that will be done. I mean, you know, I don't know if I call it closure. Just it will be done. We do plan on doing Kaylee J Day every year. So last year was the first annual, and we plan on every year getting being bigger and bigger. Hopefully, we, I mean, we're already worldwide in a sense, but we want people worldwide celebrating Kaylee, and we know that's not going to happen in a year or 2 years, but in 10, 15 years down the road, we really hope that her face is just known everywhere.
I think it already is.
I know. It's intense. It's crazy how well known it already is across the world.
Tell us about Kaylee J Day for those who didn't know about it. I remember putting it on the news, so I knew about it. But what happened that day? That's her birthday, right?
Yeah, that's her birthday.
They're
June
2
8th.
weeks apart.
Maddie and Kaylee are exactly 2 weeks apart. Both were Friday babies.
Karen came up with Maddie May Day, which was like do something, caring for other people.
Mhm.
And it went over so well. And it was such a positive thing for her that we're like, you know what? That's the right way to do it.
We knew we had to do something for Kaylee's birthday. So we were like, hey, Karen, do you mind if we kind of like piggyback off this Maddie May Day and do a Kaylee J Day? And so we did Kaylee J Day, do something you love.
With the people you love.
Yes. So, doing something you love could be,
Cooking
watching a
dinner.
movie with your husband,
People told us on
go
our
to the
page.
park,
I cooked my son's favorite dinner.
Yeah.
Spaghetti.
And, yep.
And that's what we're hoping.
That's what we love,
Bring some positivity to something that is surrounded with negativity.
We went fishing. We drove out to the lake. We watched the sunrise. We watched the sun. I think our very first post for Kaylee J Day was from abroad, and it was like 3 in our morning, and they said, "I just watched the sun."
I've never heard of this, Mandy. Find me a link, I guess, and I'll check it out. I've never heard of it though. Super Sleuther, huh? That's new to me. I'll check it out.
Sunrise, and I think they were in like England or something for Kaylee J Day.
What do you want to say about all 4?
I think behind the scenes, they were a lot closer than we're able to like cross. Every parent wants to be super respectful to the other parents and not, cross any lines. So, I mean, privately we talk all the time, and we share information and dates that are coming up and things like that. But it's hard, it's super hard to see them struggling and know that they're going through it, and you feel it 100%. And then you see people criticizing and saying stuff, and, you get very defensive. And I just support them. And I love that everybody's got their way of,
walking this path.
Yeah.
And
helping
different.
people remember them. So when this is all said and done, if you remember these 4 kids, that's the end goal that we're all working towards. And we're going to forget whatever loser did this, whatever monster put this together. He's going to become not the story, and the story will be.
He'll be non-existent.
Yeah, he won't even be around to be remembered, and everyone else will be.
I do think that the famous picture that is out there of all of them with Ethan and Xana and the two survivors and
It's their
Keely and
lives. All that
I think it kind of sums up their relationship. All of them getting down underneath that porch and taking pictures, and laughing, smiling. I think that sums up their relationships together with each other. They were obviously
very close.
Very close.
Trusting.
Yes.
It was a safe.
Leaning into each other, smiling. just in the moment.
It's the community that helps you realize that you can't treat everyone like the person that did this to you. And, I was talking to Jack about some of the songs that she loved, and he's like, one of her last songs that she was listening to was "Most People Are Good."
It's a country song.
It's a country song. And I remind myself that when I want to be angry and I'm in the car and something that, most people are good. The page is a reminder of that.
Yes.
And you don't want it to turn you into a monster because something bad has happened to you.
No.
And it's not easy when you see all these different comments being made and all these rumors and the gag order and all these people make up these stories online. It's not a fun process to go through. So you need those people to remind you that most people aren't like that. And
most people are good.
Yeah, most people are good and trying to do the best.
And the people that we have surrounding us, lifting us up in prayer and lifting us up
are amazing.
Sharing this grief with us and, sharing our tears and the love for our girls. It's, we would have never thought that this for one would happen and that it would become so big and so important to so many and hurt so many. And we're just blessed to have everybody that we have.
All right. I think we're going to have one more. Give me a second here. One moment. Hey, Mama Bear. Good to see ya. Hope you didn't work too hard today. Thank you for joining us. 1 second, guys. I'm looking for something real quick. I'm throwing up the mix. Or changing up the mix. I'm sorry. Messing with the queue. It's okay. I don't mind. 1 second here. Hold on. Is it the one from 2 weeks ago, Bun Girl? When I put that in, that's what comes up. I don't think that's the right one, though. Hold on a minute. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on, folks. I'm looking this up. I'm having a hard time finding it. Give me 1 second. We're getting there, folks. I think I got it now. I got quite a few more to watch, so. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. I will be back in here tonight, and I will look to find it. Okay. And I'll bring up the rest of them tonight since we couldn't get through it today, but I do have to take some time down for a couple hours, and I will set it up and be back in here tonight, and we'll finish this up. So make sure you guys tune back in so we can finish it, because there's quite a few more that are kind of interesting. Let's see. I don't really have an answer to that, Candy. I did look at it though. The question didn't make sense to me. I don't know if you missed a word. Hold on. You definitely need to get some rest then, Mama Bear. I didn't realize. Long day. Just checking through the chat to make sure. But yeah, I am going to have to bring this down for now, but I will be back tonight. Why so red Twigger? Oh, that was from earlier, Mandy. I can take that down now. Anyway, but like I said, I will be back up in a few hours here. So make sure you tune back in if you can. I appreciate y'all being here today. Clue, thank you for joining me and your opinions. So make sure you bring your notebooks back, guys, because we got a few more to take apart, look at. just so that we can pick up the things that were said that we may have missed. I think this is a good idea. So thank you all for joining me. Don't forget to love yourselves, to love each other. Don't change a thing about yourselves because you are the beautiful people. I'll probably be in by 8:30, guys. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you soon. Love you much. Bye.